go! GNCC Racing!
Back and forth, lots of turns, a little bit tighter trail around in there, a couple of places it opens up once again. That'll take you all the way to the 4 mile mark. Good, flowy, back and forth, tight and fast trail all the way to the 4. And then just past 4, you're going to pop out in a big grass track. Run out around that grass track, back in the woods, a little bit of tight trail all the way over to the 5 mile mark. And then right around the 5, it opens up just a little bit. You got a little fast section, a couple little off cambers in there. It's getting a good berm in it. You guys shouldn't have any trouble with that. That'll take you back around through some more zigzags over the 6 mile mark. Through the 6, same thing, opens up just a little bit and then it tightens back up. There's such a mix here. Good stuff back and forth all the way to the 7 mile mark. You're going to pop back out in the field again after the 7, work your way through that, and then you're going to come down. You guys are going to split off from the morning track. You're running that little enduro cross section up top there. There's some logs, there's some rocks, there's some tires. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. One piece of advice on those car tires, not the big tractor tires, but the car tires that are standing straight up and down. If you hit those things dead on, they kind of bounce. So try to get the front wheel up over them. They're really, like I said, if you hit them too hard, they make you bounce. I found that out the hard way the other day. So work your way around that to the 8 mile mark, a little fast trail with a few up and down hill sections. FMF PowerPoint, back up the other side, quick little field section over the 9 mile mark. You're going to drop down off a little downhill, run out and around grass track into the finish, and out of the finish you got grass track that'll bring you back around to where you started at. So you guys are about 9 miles on the dot. They're a little shorter than usual, but this track's going to slow you down in a lot of places. There's a lot of turns, there's a lot of tighter trail, so your lap times will be a little closer to what we're used to. So good luck, be safe, have fun, and pay attention to those arrows, everybody.
Alrighty, thanks a lot, Bolton. And of course, with that, want to remind everyone, safety first. GNCC Racing, like all motorsports, can be dangerous. Racers, now that you've had an opportunity to inspect the course, have heard the race procedures and a description of the course, if you feel that either you or your machine is not prepared, now is the time for you to withdraw for complete refund of your entry fee, no questions asked. It is your responsibility to operate your machine in a safe manner, maintaining control at all times. Extreme caution is required when approaching areas with high concentrations of fans. Do not take unnecessary risks that endanger the safety of fans. You will be penalized for reckless racing. Race fans, due to the nature of GNCC racing, there is no fence barrier around the course. It is your responsibility to keep yourself and your children a safe distance from the race course. Never turn your back on oncoming racers, and remember, stay off the racetrack. And finally, for the safety of everyone, unauthorized drones are prohibited at GNCC and will be confiscated. And now, to ask a blessing on this afternoon's race, Mr. Ricky Towery.
Thank you, Rodney. Hey, let's go, Lord, and have a word of prayer together this afternoon. Heavenly Father, once again, we just thank you for bringing us all together safely. After a little summer break, we come back for the first race for this fall. Lord, we just ask you will watch over these riders this afternoon. Lord, you'll keep them safe. Let them go out there and have a good time together. Lord, we've been remembering 9/11 this week. We know a lot of people lost family members and friends. Continue to be with them ones that lost members, Lord, in the days to come. But continue to be with each and every one of them. We ask a special blessing for Jeff Russell that he can get recouped and get back out here with us, Lord. We just thank you for the blessing that you give us every day. We thank you for this landowner for letting use this piece of property to enjoy our sport. Lord, just watch over our military men and women. They in all parts of the world every day fighting for us so we have a free country to come out here to enjoy this sport that we love dearly so much. Once again, thank you for what you do for us. We just ask you to take us all home safely so we can get back together again one day. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a public servant, a first responder, have ever been, or a military man or woman, please come up to our front line. This is our line of honor. Many of you were here this morning. You can please return to this line. GNCC families, these men and women that walk forward have protected our rights, have protected our communities, have made us safe, and have made us the country that we are. The work that these men and women have done does not go unnoticed to your GNCC families. Part of your GNCC families will be sending you the GNCC Medal of Freedom. Our small token, our appreciation, saying thank you for all of the hard work that you have done, for your commitment to the United States Constitution, your commitment to the safety of our neighborhoods, your commitment to our children, your commitment to our ways of life, your commitment to ensure that we can go race our dirt bike every weekend. GNCC, put your hands together for these heroes, these wonderful men and women that have made it possible for us to be free. Heroes, if you will stand with us on this line, and XC2 riders, if you would stand, come up to the line just in front of you. 18 years ago, 2,977 Americans perished. Today, there are 18 flags on our pro row. Let's never forget. Let's never, ever forget what it means to be free. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you all to please rise and let's join singing as we honor America.
Well, there you have it, folks. The stage is set. GNCC racing is set to resume here in 2019 for these XC1, XC2, and, of course, all of our A and B riders here this afternoon as we welcome you once again along RacerTV.com to Harpersville, New York for this Parts Unlimited Black Sky GNCC. And as we know, things are ready to go here. Lots of folks wondering who's going to come out on top, who did their homework in the short break that we had here this summer, and who is hungry as we roll toward the final of 2019. Let's meet our starting lineup for the Parts Unlimited Black Sky GNCC. He's rolling to the line first today, riding for aboard the number 1. He hails from Rogers, Ohio on a factory-backed Yamaha with GBC tires and backed by Fly Racing. In the strive for 5, put your hands together for Walker Fowler. Rolling to the line second today. He rides aboard the number 3. He is a 6-time GNCC champion, 75 overall wins on a Maxxis Fly Racing Yule Cycle Barn Suzuki, Chris Borich. Rolling to the line today, 3rd in points. He rides aboard the number 4, fresh from France, out of Bidwell, Ohio, on a Landsmill XCC ST Tires Hauser Racing Yamaha, Bryson Neal. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 5 from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, on an Action Off-Road GBC Tires Moto Wash-backed Yamaha, the Coal Train, Cole Richardson. Up next from the hills of West Virginia on the number 521. Out of Waverly on an Ober Moose Racing Parts Unlimited McGill Mafia Racing Honda, Adam Gator McGill. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 2 from Casca, Pennsylvania, on a Maxxis Elka Moose Racing backed Honda. They call him the Sneaky Snake, Jared McClure. Rolling to the line next, 7th in points. Riding aboard the number 9 from Newfield, New York, on a Maxxis Ithaca Recreation Sports WPS Fly Racing backed Yamaha, Hunter Hart. Rolling to the line 8th today aboard the 741. Out of Myersville, Maryland, on a Ryland Johnson Racing GBC Motorsports Shield Cycle Barn Suzuki, old WW, Wesley Wolf. He is 9th in points. He rides aboard the number 12, celebrating his 25th season as an XC1 Pro from Aurora, Ohio, on a GBC Fly Racing HMF Factory Yamaha, Johnny G, Johnny Gallagher. Ranked 10th in points, fresh from Croatia. On the number 11 from Akron, Ohio, on a B&R Motorsports, GBC Motorsports Hauser Racing Yamaha, Josh Merritt. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 7 from Richford, New York, a Niowa rider himself, on an MCR GBC Motorsports Moose Racing backed Honda, Marty Christopherson. The number 201, he hails from Carroll, Ohio, on a Pierce Performance Moose Racing 560 Graphics Yamaha, Cody Collier. Riding aboard the number 406, featured on the event t-shirt from Windsor, New York, on an MR Unlimited GBC Tires RJR Honda, Devin Feehan. And last and certainly not least, from Ithaca, New York, on a custom Axis Goldspeed Hauser Racing Yamaha, the number 14, Greg Covert. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for this inaugural running of the Parts Unlimited Black Sky GNCC. As our riders converge now down here onto this starting line, our XC1 class, and of course our final couple of riders finding their way onto the start line itself here this afternoon as we anticipate the start of a 2-hour ATV racing extravaganza, my friends, that will culminate in, I'm sure, some of the most exciting racing that you quite possibly could have witnessed for yourself in your entire lifetime. As we turn our attention down here, up here to Ricky Towery. He's already told these riders we are 2 minutes away, and of course this gives these riders the opportunity, those last minute checks, and to do those last moment things that they need to do, the rituals, whatever it may be. The next time we see Ricky Towery, as he steps up to his podium, as we like to say, the maestro and the conductor of ceremonies here, he will give us the 1 minute signal, and we will be 1 minute away from the green flag flying and GNCC racing resuming here in 2019. 1 minute. 1 minute, says Ricky Towery. As now the hearts begin to pound, a lot of anxiety and a lot of anticipation as riders coming into this one really wanting to unload and let folks know what kind of rides they are capable of, what they can possibly do before the end of the season is concerned as far as championship points go. And of course, with that, those final thoughts running through their mind, and we shut them down, shut them down, shut them down, shut them down. We are now less than 30 seconds away from resuming the 2019 GNCC ATV racing season. And I got to ask you, New York, are you ready to go GNCC racing? Come on now, we're in Niowa country, the southern tier of New York. I'm going to ask you one more time. Niowa and New York, are you ready to go GNCC racing? 10 seconds. And row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at this Parts Unlimited Black Sky GNCC. $250 up for grabs in our All Balls Hot Cams Whole Shot Award, presented as well by Wiseco Performance Products, and it's the number 1 Walker Fowler, the number 5 of Cole Richardson, the Cole Train, right there in the hunt and thick of things in the number 2 spot. As we turn our attention down to the XC2 Pro-Am class, $100 whole shot up for grab for these riders. We got Drew Landers, Tanner Walker, Stephen Covert, Jordan Poplowski, Matthew Blankenship, Charlie Dunn, Kenny Schick, Ben Kowalewski, Gabriel Nod, Pierre Dinal, Wyatt Wilkin, John Glotta, Ronnie Rush, and Bodie Lamoureux in 10 seconds. Sorting it out into that first turn. It's going to be 7:14. Ronnie Rush and John Glotta banging bars to the second and third turns now, but it's Rocket Ronnie, or AKA Little Ronnie Rush, taking over the early lead. College A, 16-21, Seth Wilson, Tyler Swindle, Brandon Owens, Matthew Reese, Jack Kidd, Garrison Paw, Bryce Barnett, Dylan Hagerman, Noah Mickelson, Brendan Young, Chase Allison, Gavin Jenkins, Dylan Waldraven, Corey Vandeliner, and Mikey Nichols in 10 seconds. And the motocross racer gets a great jump off the line again, but I think he might get squeezed out for the whole shot. No, Noah Mickelson, the 400 Phoenix Racing Honda Red Ryder, grabbing the early lead in this one. That number 400 hailing out of Salisbury, North Carolina, Phoenix Racing Honda. Junior A, 22 plus class, Brody Livingood, Josh Haney, Justin Miller, Luke Shepard, Tyler Palmer, Bruce Weiland, James Pack Lane, Nick Davidson, Colton Harkness, Mitchell Kidd, also Alex Elliott, Trevor Statler. 10 seconds. Devin Manicaci, also we're looking at Andrew Phillips, Justin Lord, Ben Danner, Kyle Percy, Michael McAvoy, Chandler Berner, Caleb Edwards, and Jeremy Ladon. Ladon, a former motocross racer himself on the inside. Looks like he's vying for a whole shot, but nope, that one's, he's going to get pinched out. Ladon will be second. It's the 44 of Luke Shepard out of Marion, Ohio on the SBR LS4 Hauser Racing Bag Machine. And now, down to the vet A30 plus class, Big Papa P, Jeff Pickens, you got Chris Conklin, the Marlboro Man, Todd Muscala, Carl Brink, Eric Vallejo, Jesse Ward, Dirk DeCesar. 10 seconds. John Lynn, Kevin Yoho, Michael Lancaster's back, and Brad Whitehead. And check them out. We got a great vet A30 plus class brewing right here, and it's the 807 of Michael Lancaster out of Morgantown, West Virginia, on the Greg's ATV 4-play GBC back machine. This vet A class is getting thick, my friends. It's going to be a premier class before you know it. Senior 840 plus class, Michael Hayes, Kevin Sims, John Sousa, Thomas Barrett, Mike Stevens, Jerry Kocherman, also Todd LaBelle, Mark Batson, Dale Batson, Jeff DeFore, and Brian Shaw in 10 seconds. Well, 8:28, Brian Shaw from Harrisville, PA. Oh yeah, threads that needle on the inside, grabs the early lead as they check up in turn 2. Shaw leads them out now as we go to the college B class. Dalton Keys, Grayson Ellis, Braden Shakira, Joel Gragnon, also Hunter Holly, Cole Burlew, Douglas Bellis, Gregory Troy, Brody Ballou, Trey Ballou, I should say, Javine Anderson, Larry Mackey. 10 seconds. Aaron Greenwell, Hunter Godsey, Evan Barnett, Lucas Kapler, Clayton Whitney, Brandon Clark, Brandon Berry, Michael Orabello, also Caden Ryan, and Keegan Walker. Another motocrosser in this one. He's back in second. It's a, oh no, side by side. I think it's going to be the 527 of Aaron Greenwell to Beach Grove, Indiana, on Discovery Trailers, Hilltop Motorsports go-kart trucking back machine. But Grayson Heller on that Phoenix Racing Honda was right there beside him. I don't know who got the hold, the actual hold shot, but looks like that 527 got the early lead. We're going to the Junior B 22 plus class next. Josh Adams, Travis Mathias, David Kite, Jackson McGee, Cody Berry, Brian Mitchell, Joseph Murphy, Brett Armstrong, Josh Costa, Evan Soda, Austin Manny Gacci. 10 seconds. Joshua Clark, Justin Ice, and Dylan Holloway, Devin Dean, Nate Hokie, Lucas Johnson, Jonathan Grindbull, and Travis McConaughey. That might be Travis McConaughey up front. Mercy. And it might have been a 242 also. Honda ride of Saylorsburg, PA's Josh Adams on a Max's Stone Concepts back machine. We go to the Vet B class next. 30 plus and older. Nick Miller, Nathaniel Tickler, Aaron Hendershot, Sean Tice, Giovanni Bozio, Paul De Montague, also Stephen Capper, Thomas Bundy, Michael Ravetto, Zachary Girl. Looking at Chris Landefeld, Stephen Barber, Jordan Wilkins, Jason Wayne, Clifford Margerson, Cody Holcomb, David Ashby, David Pish, Adam Haddo. 10 seconds. Frederick LaFale, Christopher Butler, Cody Stewart, Jesse Atkins, and David Dunham. The Vet B 30 plus class. And it is the 120, Aaron Hendershot. Aaron Hendershot from Mansfield, Ohio, on an HBR B&R Spider Graphics back machine. And with that, the Senior B 40 plus class, Greg Phillips, Lyle Morrison, Leons Barnabowski, Daniel Dakota, Remy Houlet, Jason Limley, Carl Meisner, Scott Barrett, Michael Golden, Robert Stevens, and Jeff Harvey in 10 seconds. Well, it's old hardcore Harvey got up his sleeve. Oh, Jason Limley's got some traction, looks like. At 4:03 out of Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, Jason Limley grabbing the early lead on this one in the Senior B 40 plus class. As we look out on our start grid, that's it. That's a wrap as far as starts are concerned. And now these riders are all duking it out on that 9-mile race course. Wow, what a great day. Some just under 200 riders trying to make it all happen here in the hills of the southern tier of New York. Who's going to come out on top? Will it be Walker Fowler, Chris Borch, Coltrane, Cole Richardson, or will someone else make the bid today? We'll stick around to find out. Racer TV continues right after this.
Or to confidently maneuver around obstacles on the trail. AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil was subjected to an extreme simulated start test. After 32 simulated race starts, AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil continued to deliver consistent clutch feel, and the clutch plates remained clean with no visible wear. The competitor's oil, however, allowed discoloration and significant wear after just 16 starts. AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil. Give your bike the protection it needs.
What is your passion? Hitting the perfect line, finding the perfect trail, routing the perfect adventure, or just living and breathing the moto life? Do you feel pride for a job well done after tackling a late night in the shop? Do you enjoy time spent with friends and family in the great outdoors? Spanning over 3 decades, one name has taken the lead for supplying the best powersport parts, accessories, and apparel to fuel your passion. One name that knows it goes beyond getting you the best prices, quickest shipping, or largest selection. One name that builds and innovates for our industry. One name that teaches, helps, and supports our fellow riders, racers, and organizations. We are Rocky Mountain ATV MC. We have transformed a team of moto enthusiasts into a powerful teaching team to ensure that you make the best purchasing decision with your hard-earned cash. We build communities with fellow riders to provide you with all you need to make a good decision. See customer photos, reviews, Q&As, and more while you're on our easy-to-use website. Need help fast? Live chat with our specialists, email, or drop us a line. Visit us today and experience the best in OEM and aftermarket parts, accessories, apparel, and industry-leading information. We offer lightning quick shipping, free on orders over $75, a huge inventory, free apparel exchanges both ways, and customer service that leaves all others behind. Experience one name that leads all others. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
The action is just heating up, and we're just getting started. Stay with us, live action on RacerTV.com.
The all-new Yamaha Wolverine X2. With a compact chassis perfect for exploring tight technical terrain. An ultra-quiet and smooth 850 class twin-cylinder engine. And next-level versatility with a 600-pound dumping cargo bed. No other side-by-side delivers this level of proven off-road performance. The all-new Wolverine X2 from Yamaha.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gaskets seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best. Cometic Gaskets are constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environment. Whether it's championships on the line or a day in the dirt with friends, professionals and enthusiasts depend on Cometic. Cometic Gaskets, sealing championships since 1989.
I'm a junior pro a surfer from Maui, Hawaii. I actually tried to homeschool in 8th grade and just didn't meet my needs. I came to On Track in 9th grade, and from the beginning I really liked it.
The mission at On Track School is to make academic success completely possible for each and every student while they're out pursuing their personal goals.
Everything is just super easy with On Track. I get to take my computer on the road whenever I need to. It makes it very easy for me to get all my work done.
If you're looking for a program that provides flexibility and a program that you can take anywhere that fits your lifestyle, then On Track is for you. So come check us out at ontrackschool.com and go get it.
Even when you're the best, you never stop striving to be better. The all-new from the ground up 2019 Yamaha YZ250F is available at LoJack Cycle Sales, alongside the all-new YZ65 and YZ85, and refined YZ450F. So stop by LoJack Cycle Sales today in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, and visit our online inventory at www.lojacks.com. Yamaha YZs. It's why we ride.
This Racer TV broadcast is brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. Specialized Turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. And by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
Welcome back to GNCC Live. I'm Mikey Waynes. I'm being joined alongside Rodney Tomlin, as well as Landon Wolf here in just a moment. And Adam, if you can hear me, I got nothing coming in my headphones, so if you can crank our voice up in the headphones, that'd be awesome. Looking at, there we go, perfect, that's much better. Looking at the Monster Mile, this Enduro section here, Jared Bolton talking about that should turn out to be a pretty little gnarly section here. So our riders, when they come through here, will be walking you through that. Walker Fowler off to a good start, taking the whole shot in the XC1 class, and then Ronnie Rush taking the whole shot in the XC2 class. That looked like Walker Fowler might have been heading into the woods there, and I believe that was Adam McGill in second. I didn't catch it in third, fourth, so these guys going into the woods section here. What mile marker this is, I'm not real positive yet, but we're off and rolling. We know that much, right? We're here. Yeah, Adam, 6 mile marker. Okay, so the 6 mile marker. There's, no, I take that back. Second place, I was way off then. But want to welcome you guys out here, tuning in here to the Parts Unlimited Black Sky here in Harpersville, New York. How about it? So seeing some pretty good separation between these guys now. But, yeah, we were scheduled to come here last season, and due to some inclement weather, that did not work out. So technically, second time this has been on the schedule for the season, but first time here. Number 3, Chris Borich moving through here now. Chris Borich finds himself toward the back of the pack right there. So we'll see if he doesn't shake things up before it's said and done. The number 4 machine moving in right there into the woods section. So again, getting some pretty good separation. I believe that was Marty Christofferson right there checking into the woods. So again, our XC1 guys haven't really seen any of our XC2 guys moving up in there yet. And again, you're watching GNCC Live here on RacerTV.com. And it feels good to be back racing some GNCC. A number 12 machine right there.
But coming into this one, we had Walker Fowler picking up wins from round 7, 8, and 9. You got to go back all the way to round number 6. The last time it wasn't a Walker Fowler win, that was when we saw Bryson Neal picking up a win there. And then you go back 2 more rounds, and Chris Borich picked up a win in round number 4. So while the strive for 5 continues, if you will, for Walker Fowler, these guys certainly have something to say about it, and going to be riding with a lot of confidence here in coming out of the summer break. Everybody kind of wants to come out and show what they've got. Silly season, we call it, right? Silly season. So maybe you're not where you're at or where you expected yourself to be at this point in the season. So you want to come out and prove it to yourself, prove it to your team, and improve that result. Maybe you're wanting to seal the deal on something. But regardless, things always seem to get wild these last few rounds of GNCC racing. So certainly in store for a good one here. And taking a look there at that. Yeah, everybody at home probably heard you, Adam, because that was very loud. This is mile marker 8, I believe, the Monster Energy Monster Mile. This is going to be a fun one to watch, this little section right here. Maybe a game changer. Maybe we see some things shake up through the Monster Mile here today. That's much better. Thank you, Adam. It was, yeah. I just repeated what you said. Yeah, this is amazing. This something a little different than what we've normally got right here at the GNCC's little enduro section for you in the Monster Energy Monster Mile. And like we always say, may not be a full mile, but you can tell just looking at it. It's going to feel like a mile or more, I guarantee it. So these guys should be popping out here. I believe that wood section we were looking at a moment ago was around the 6-mile marker, and I believe this is right at the 8-mile marker for here in today's track. So these guys should be coming in here shortly. We should see, I believe it was Walker Fowler we saw there with the white chest protector. Speaking of which, there he goes right there. So these guys will pop out of this wood section. You see the fans down there, ready, prepared. They want to see it. We want to see it. See, I catch myself. That is nice. I'm liking it. Slowing them down a little bit. Something a little more challenging. Ooh. That's one of the things that Jared Bolton talked about at the start line. Some of the big tractor tires, not such a big deal. Those truck tires, if you will, they got a little bounce to them. Jared Bolton said he found that out the hard way, and I have a feeling as some of these B classes get in there, they may also find out the hard way on that one. But our XC1 guys moving through there, not really a whole lot of trouble. We'll see if they take some risk the second lap around. Probably just moving through this, wanting to get a good feel for it. But they're off and rolling, and Walker Fowler doing his Walker Fowler thing. Not pulling away from these guys too much, but got a pretty good lead right now. We'll get a clock on all these guys, but we've got some pretty good racing here through the mile marker number 8. Yeah, I'm stoked. I haven't seen a nice enduro section like this. A lot of these guys go out there and race the Heartland Challenge, so maybe that helped prepare them a little bit for this, right? A little bit, maybe? Could be. Yeah, it's just, yeah, me too. Rodney joined us in the booth. He said, I'm becoming a spectator. I said, man, me too. This little enduro section's pretty entertaining. The number 14 machine moving through there. Of course. Yeah, that happens. We're a little rusty, right? Summer break, that's our excuse. That works. I couldn't even tell you. Maybe they just got to check in. I don't know. Scoring computer. Well, this is a new laptop for us, too.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
We'll make it work. So, yeah, these guys, Rodney, this is, I believe the Monster Mile is right at the 8-mile marker. So these guys moving through this course and not having too much trouble with it. But I love how much it's slowing these guys down. There's no blowing through this section today.
You know, if anybody says, GNCC maybe has gotten a little fast in the last few races or whatever the case may be, one thing we can say about this one, no, not at all. We have what we've got here is very tight woods, and we were talking about it in the opener about the coziness, the tightness of the track, and how close it actually comes together. A lot of weaving back and forth to get the mileage that they got out of this. So that means a lot of turns.
Yeah.
A lot of fresh virgin woods out there. So that also means that navigation is going to be a little bit slower. So we're seeing lap time somewhere in the neighborhood of about probably 26, 27 minutes a lap.
That's what it was this morning for the 4x4 Pro guys. So this pond section, this is the last couple turns right before they come into the finish line. And Adam, we're still having some trouble hearing you. You're cutting in and out real bad. But, yeah, you can see the last few chicanes right there. Walker Fowler out in front. So once our scoring computer's up, we'll be able to get a clock on this and get some lap times for you here. But that section you're looking at, from what I saw from this track today, is about as open as it gets. I mean, this is just classic. Let's see. What do you call that? Two and a half seconds? I did the Johnny Gallagher thing. Maybe 2.5 seconds. Pick a spot, count. All right, so let's see. Yeah, so Walker pulling away a little bit there after he comes through the finish line, but second and third battling right now. We'll know exactly. Maybe I'll just pull it up on my phone.
There you go. That's what I was trying to do. I'm trying to get it on the computer here right now, but lovely new venue as we look at this enduro cross section now, and some of these A-riders
there we go. That's what we're looking for.
Oh, yes, indeed. This is what makes for very interesting GNCC racing. And see, the cool thing about it is the pros got through there pretty easy, but what happens when they come around here on lap 2, lap 3, when they start getting into some of that lap traffic? There's going to be some carnage laid out in some of these places. So it's going to mean alternate line choices are going to be having to be taken, and it's going to mean that possible mistakes are going to be made as well. So this is going to get rather interesting, I think, before this race day is all said and done. Looking back through some of those A classes, I think that's the College A we're watching roll through there right now in the enduro cross section of this racetrack. And again, as we roll into this 10th round of racing, it's been a while since we've been at the GNCC trails, and already fall starting to show its face here in the southern tier of New York, as we're starting to see some of those trees turn yellows and some of the reds starting to come out. So it's a beautiful time at the GNCC Racing Nation. So taking a look at, we got some pretty cool stuff going on up here in New York today. We actually got 2 drones that are being utilized for Racer TV today. Oh, mercy sakes alive. Going to have to get my paperwork out here and start searching for numbers. And these guys are really taking some hard hits out there in this enduro cross section. I mean, nobody's going down, but like Bolton said, he said, those tires have got a lot of give. So if you hit them squared up, you're going to do nothing. They're going to flex, and they're going to push back on you. Bolton speaking from experience, he said, obviously. And, the whole logistics of it all makes sense. I mean, can't hear you, Adam. So again, an 8-mile race course. Walker Fowler leading this one. And as we come into this one, I know when we were talking with Walker Fowler in the Monster Energy pre-race report there today, he said he pretty much had a summer that was not really filled with a whole lot of racing. He said he didn't really get on his quad until the Heartland Challenge. He said he got a little bit concerned about his physical fitness because he said it took him a couple of weeks to get back up to where he needed to be to come out here and race on this Saturday. So he feels like things are going. And he gets off to a great start out here today. And, he even said at this point this morning, I hope I don't jinx myself because everything feels like it's falling right into place right off the bat. And so far, so good. What a great jump off the line he got. We had Cole Richardson back there, that number 5 machine. Richardson is a rider that we need to keep an eye on. You're getting louder, Adam. You were perfect before. The thumbs up. Yep, that's perfect. All right. That's okay. But, several of these riders actually taking a trip to France. We talked with, obviously Cole Richardson, or not Cole Richardson, but Jared McClure, Bryson Neal, and
Cole.
Well, yeah, I guess it
Yeah,
was
Cole.
Cole. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking he went to Heartland Challenge, but he didn't go to the Heartland Challenge because he went to there. Also, Josh Merritt went on a different team.
Oh, right,
Stuck
yeah.
around, went to race in
And
Croatia.
did really
a
well.
motocross race.
Real
as a matter-
well.
Yeah, got a 10th place overall with the world's top talents over there. He was talking about the Quad Cross of Nations that's going to be coming up, that Team USA is going to be sending a team to. He finished 10th against those guys. He's really stoked to see how well they do against the Americans.
Hunter Hart in the pits.
Yeah, Hunter Hart, literally from Ithaca.
Oh,
up on his side.
This is not good. Santa Dorisi down there.
I know a lot of expectation and high hopes for Hunter Hart coming into this one, not necessarily from an outside source, but from himself personally. And remarkably, this young rider not really putting any pressure on himself. He was really stoked, really calm, cool, collected, and casual. You know, I got to say, a lot of the riders that I spoke to today, a far cry different attitudes than what we saw earlier in the year. Even just prior to the summer break, everybody was just so wound up and so, frustrated, excited, anxious, whatever the case and whatever position they happen to be in. But coming back into this, that couple months that we had off, everybody just seems to be so relaxed, so calm, so cool, collected. Nobody seems to be pressed. They had a great off season and they're ready to get back at it. Of course, Johnny Gallagher, on the other hand, he said the summer break came too late and it finished up too quick. And
what did he say? It's the difference between the old bull and the young bull.
The old bull and the young bull. And I get what he's saying, but Johnny at the same time also has a very rigorous schedule that he keeps up with. And we tip our hat to Johnny and congratulate him, Walker Fowler, and, of course, the mechanic over there at Walker Fowler Racing, Mark Notman, on, I guess, would be 9th win for Walker Fowler in that championship and an 8th win for Johnny Gallagher. And a little bit of words were crossed back and forth between those guys talking a little bit about that. And I'm thinking, these guys are teammates and they're trash talking each other. This is crazy. But watch this section. I mean, this is going to be a section that we're going to be paying a lot of attention to as far as Racer TV is concerned here on the Enduro Cross section. So we'll be bouncing back and forth. Why? Because that's where all the action seems to be.
Exactly.
That's where the excitement is. And right now in the pits is where the action seems to be. We need to get a microphone over there, Mikey, and maybe check in with what's going on. So if you might go over there and just ambush, interview Hunter Hart and see what's going on. We got a lot of different folks. We got Dorisi Racing's chief man up there as he is working. I do not know what they're going on. I mean, this looks like they are in surgery. Santo Dorisi is there. Got an impact wrench going in. That looks like maybe the cases is what they're working on over there, or maybe even the sprocket. I don't know. I can't really see. That's a pretty big nut there that they're trying to pull off there. So I'm going to say that might be maybe even the swing arm region. I can't see because of the way the plastic is there, and I'm not necessarily a mechanic of ATV, so I'm not real familiar with what's going on. But that looks like that's got to be down in the clutch area or something like that. They got that thing torn apart. They're working on it. That's not a good sign for Hunter on that first lap, but what is a good sign, if they can get this thing put back together and it's going to work right, Hunter still is an opportunity to salvage a fairly decent day here today as we see him going in now. Yeah, wow, that right there is not a good thing to be working on in the middle of a race. That's something that you expect to hold up, but hey, that's the nature of the beast in GNCC and any form of racing. You get out here, you get these kinds of horsepower, these types of terrains, and you get all kinds of craziness taking place. And you see the different styles that people are choosing to work their way through this Enduro Cross section. And Enduro Cross is not something that is typically, I guess, suited for an ATV racer, I guess would be the best word to put up. For conducive, maybe, might be another word to look at, but it's not the most conducive form of racing for ATVs. But these riders really appear to be manipulating this race course without much problems whatsoever. I mean, there are a few that get hung up here and there, but all in all, this is going to be a very interesting section of the track, and it could play a big key into what's taking place when we get down to the closing moments. We're only about a mile from the finish line at this point, so whatever happens here, a rider gets crossed up, another rider gets by, whatever happens, that's going to be an interesting part of the track to keep an eye on. Another interesting part is down in the pits right now where Mikey Wayne's standing by with Hunter Hart.
Thanks, Rodney. Yeah, Hunter, man, talk to us. We've got the quad on its side. We got Santo DeRisi, the whole crew's out here tinkering on it. What the heck happened, man?
Yeah, we're not really sure. I think I was around the 2-3 mile mark, about 6th or 7th, and I went into a corner and there was just no clutch. Every time I pull it in, I just kept accelerating, and there was just clutch worked fine, everything like that, and it just wouldn't disengage basically. And you can't ride a track like this without your clutch, and it just you can't do anything with it.
It's a frustrating finish right there, man. It's still early. Maybe we'll get you back out there. So sounds like some major clutch problems going on right now for Hunter Hart.
Yeah, tough break there, Mikey, no doubt. Heartbreaker, too, because like I say, I mean, Ithaca is just minutes away from where we are right now. And with that, I know Hunter really expecting and hoping to do very well. I know that a lot of folks, a lot of friends, a lot of family in town this weekend to watch Hunter. And I know he does not want to let him down. And obviously, if you're a fan of Hunter Hart, you know he's not letting anybody down. He's going to get out there and he's going to make some remarkable waves, if at all possible, and still bring something to light here today. Working on lap number 2 for our XC1 Pro class and also our XC2 Pro-Am class. Some pretty good battles going on in a couple of different realms there, and we'll get up to date on those coming up here in just a few moments. We're going to try to get into our live timing and scoring now if we got enough internet. You know the beauty of it, though, out here at this wonderful facility, we're not real far from the interstate, so we do have a fairly decent internet connection. So we're pretty stoked about that. And let's see if we can. Yeah, Walker Fowler out front, Richardson in second, Jared McClure in that number 3 spot as we roll through that first lap of racing here at Black Sky. We see Devin Feehan in the 4th place position. That's a great place for this young rider to start. Remember, I think he sat out a couple of races due to some injury, got healed up in the offseason. We talked to him down there in the Monster Energy pre-race report. He was pretty stoked. He was another one of those riders, again, that didn't have that anxiety, didn't have that stress, and then that nervousness that you normally see Devin Feehan with. He was actually very calm, cool, collected, like no sweat off his back. I mean, I think that might have been something that really might be playing favors in his position as far as mental, I think, strongitude, if you will. I know that's not a word, but anyway, it gives him the opportunity to, and has given him the opportunity to grow stronger, and I think assess the situation a little bit more and put it all into perspective and know that he's one of the fastest riders in the nation, and he knows that he can go out there and make it happen. He's just got to go out and prove it to himself, and today might be the day. Adam McGill running in the number 5 spot, the Gator, chomp, chomp, chomp. Greg Covert, another New York rider from down the road in Ithaca. Greg Covert in 6th place. Chris Borge is running 7th. Bryson Neal in 8th. Cody Collier 9th. Marty Christofferson, another Niowa rider, the number 7 machine, is running in the number 10 spot. As we wrapped up lap number 1, then we saw Wesley Wolf, Josh Merritt, Johnny Gallagher, and Hunter Hart was 14th place position in the XC1 class. Now, as we look at the overall, see how some of those XC2 riders are starting to fare as far as today's racing is concerned. We look into this, and it's still not until we see, wow, 15th place. Now, I'm going to point something out to you. I didn't see this and didn't know it was even going on, but we got the 14th place is the number 246 Yamaha College A rider, 16 to 21 of Owens. Owens is 14th place overall, turned a 26:25 lap time. Ronnie Rush, who grabbed the whole shot, an early lead in the XC2 Pro-Am class after time adjustments, is 15th place overall. He's leading the class, but he's 15th place overall with a 26:36.9, so 26:37 basically lap time, an 11-second different lap than Owens in that College A class here on lap number 1. So that, my friends, is going to be a very interesting place to watch. I know we talk about oftentimes those XC2 guys inching their way towards the top 5 and maybe even leading sometimes the overall. But here today, we've got a whole different scenario shaking up where we've got the College A that is knocking on the door of the Pro-Am class. And that, my friends, could certainly shake things up as far as the results are concerned. And I am very excited to see how this is all going to play out. Let's look at some of these other classes as we roll through this. XC2 Pro-Am. As we told you, Ronnie Rush is leading the class. He's 15th overall, 11 seconds behind the College A class leader in the overall. Kenny Schick, second place, 1.6 seconds back. It's Drew Landers in third aboard the number 17 on the Landsmill XC racing machine, about 7.6 seconds back. Gabe Nod, the number 252 Yamaha ride in fourth place position, another 3 seconds back of Landers. Then we got John Galata Jr., another second back on the 712 Yamaha. Galata's going to be obviously one to keep an eye on, as we've watched him pull himself from the depths of nearly last place on lap number 1 to leading by minutes by the checker flag. So Galata's going to be one that's fun to watch and keep an eye on out here today, as a gathering of bench racers taking place there at the Enduro cross section. We see sixth place in that XC2 Pro-Am class. Bing Kowalewski in sixth, Matthew Blankenship in seventh, Ty Walker in eighth place, Jordan Poplaski is ninth place, and Steve Covert, that is Greg Covert's brother out of Ithaca down there, the number 27, rounding out the top 10 in the XC2 Pro-Am class. Now looking at that College A class, Owens that we were talking about, leading, he has about a 20-second lead over Noah Mickelson, the 400 machine, who comes to us via the Phoenix Racing Honda team by way of ATV motocross. He's one of the top Pro-Am riders. Actually just made his pro racing debut at the Ironman ATV Motocross National, the series finale at Lucas Oil just a couple of weeks ago. So Noah Mickelson getting a little dabbling in the pro taste of what that's all about. Greg Paw, the third place position rider by the number 316 in that College A class. Seth Wilson, the 26th and fourth, another 28 seconds back. Corey Vanderliner, the 805 and fifth. Matt Reese, the 307 is sixth, and then Brian Barnett, the 322 Yamaha, rounds out the seventh place position now in this College A class. And Mikey, I don't know if you heard me talking about this overall a moment ago, but you know, we oftentimes get excited about XC2 guys inching their way up and maybe even leading the overall at times. Well, check this out. College A rider Owens is right now leading 11 seconds over the leader of the XC2 Pro-Am class. So they're running 14th and 15th place position out there right now. So we got a College A rider that's actually got time adjustment better lap than an XC2. Now I'm not going to say it's never happened and it doesn't happen, but what I'm going to say, that's the first time that I've ever really noticed that. And man, to me, that's a pretty interesting thing to take away from this one. And you got John Galata all the way back in like 5th or 6th places trying to work his way up the pack. So this is going to get pretty interesting as this day goes on for that XC2 and College A class, let alone what's going on up there in the front of the pack with the XC1 class, Walker Fowler, and of course Cole Richardson and all those guys as they duke it out for those top spots here at the Parts Unlimited Black Sky GNCC. It's Fowler, Richardson, McClure, running 1, 2, and 3 right now. The first lap time about 23.5 minutes to 24 for that top 10. And Mikey, I think we should probably be about 8 minutes, maybe 7 minutes or so out. And that's by mental calculations. I didn't see what time they came through, but they were scanned at 15:10, so that would have been 3:10. It's 3:30 now, so they're about 10, 11 minutes out. So so I was a little bit shorter, but nonetheless, about 10 minutes we'll be seeing that second lap wrapped up. A lot of things going on here in this XC1 Pro class right now too, as we take, I think, a little better look at this. McClure in that number 3 spot, Devin Feehan. This is the one that I wanted to talk about, 4th place position. Remember, Devin, the sophomore this year, a very strict rider, very cut and dry. I mean, he's, if you could, sounds like we got our, oh, that's camera action, I believe, going on there. But Devin Feehan, one of those riders that, textbook. I mean, did everything. Yeah. I mean, it was a schedule. If it wasn't on the schedule, wasn't on the itinerary, didn't get done. Yep. If it was, it got done. It got done at precisely the time it was supposed to. One of those type of guys. Well, he injured himself, and he had some struggles trying to ride, I think, with the injury, and then it just got so bad that he couldn't ride anymore. So he sat out a couple races leading into the break. And, you know, like I said, talking to these guys, especially guys like Devin Feehan, always seem to be a little bit anxious, a little bit on edge, if you will, and tense. There was no tensity with that rider today. He was as more relaxed than I'd ever seen him. Even as an amateur rider, I'd never seen him that relaxed, calm, cool, and collected. And it's as if the weight of the world, I guess the weight of the 2019 season had been lifted off his shoulders. He's just coming out to ride today, and look what the results are.
You're exactly right. That nailed it on the head. I was going to actually ask you about that. Do you think riding a fresh track like this, we've never raced here, do you think that plays kind of not necessarily an advantage for some of the younger guys, but I mean, when you see a college A rider doing so well, I guess what I'm getting at is guys like Fowler don't know this place like the back of their hand. You know, guys like Adam McGill, Chris Borich, they haven't rode this track 20 times like some of our others. Do you think that kind of helps some of those guys out a little bit?
Well, I don't know how used this facility is. I don't know how many. I've heard, you know, there's a racetrack out here, and I've heard people say, I raced here a few years ago when they had a race here or something. So I don't know how familiar folks are with this, you know, and how often it's getting used. But I think when you look at the big picture, you know, there are, this is New York. That's one thing that we can point out. Another thing that we can point out is that, yes, it's tighter track. Yeah. It's a fresh new track, so there's a lot of newness to that. So that could lend itself to what you're talking about there. But for guys like Devin Feehan and some of these guys, I think a lot of it is, and Greg Covert, who is running in 6th place right now, I think a lot of it is the fact that they just feel at home. They're literally minutes away from their house.
That's true.
Devin, 10 minutes away from his house. 15 or 20 minutes away for Greg Covert and for Hunter Hart, these guys that were displaying this real casual attitude that they had that I haven't seen all year. So, again, I think that comfort of home, that might have a lot to do with it. I don't know, and I wouldn't go out on a limb, and I wouldn't say that they know this course any better. I just think it's the comforts of being in home territory.
Whatever it is, it's working for Devin Feehan right now.
It sure is. So how's things? I know you talked to Hunter on mic, but what's the word off mic?
Not happy, obviously. They were able, I don't know if the camera caught it, they were able to get him going. He's back out there on the track. But yeah, obviously frustrated, especially as a rider. You know, that's one of those things that's just completely out of your control. So you're kind of helpless in that situation. But boy, he had some great people backing him down there, and we're able to get him up and going. So you got to think that he's going to be riding with a chip on his shoulder.
Walker
Fowler jumps into the screen.
Yeah, Walker Fowler into the Enduro cross section, and there is Jared Bolton
in second.
In second place. Bolton, the best race we've ever seen this sweep rider make.
Did they take out that other half?
They must have.
They must have said, nope, this is too crazy. We're taking it out.
Come on, Ryan Eccles. That was the most exciting part.
Oh. So from a spectator side, we're like bummed, but I get it.
Yeah,
it did get pretty gnarly. For
I'm
some
sure
of those
a lot
guys.
of teeth were rattled on that. You know, yeah, that was maybe a few wrists that were jammed up on that one. But hey, they went through it once; they could go through it again. But I understand. Err on the side of caution for these millennial. Oh no. Hey man, no. You know, again, you know, GNCC and motorsports is a dangerous sport. The idea is obviously not to take the fun out of it, but to make it as I guess you could say safe.
Oh, look at that battle.
And affordable for everyone, and that's what the idea behind taking that little section out. Just precautionary measure. Man, that is side-by-side stuff. It's side-by-side action. I think that's a three-way battle. Let's see if we can figure out which class that would be. That could
that's
have
our
been
XC1 guys.
Yeah, you're right. That was. So that was Richardson, McClure, and Feehan, I think, was in that one, and maybe Adam McGill. So we've seen that would have been the 5, the 2, the 406, and the 521. I think that we were, but there was 3 riders. So I think that was actually Richardson, McClure, and Feehan. McGill just coming into the scene just a few seconds after that. I think he was running about 15 seconds behind those guys at the end of the first lap. But here we are, FMF PowerPoint, I believe, at this one. Now we've got the Monster Mile. Got the, I think this FMF PowerPoint is one of those hill climbs. Again, you get into these situations where the hills don't look nearly as steep as what they are. I know there's a hill climb that they were talking about out here. It's like a horseshoe straight up, straight down, then straight back up it as the horseshoes at the bottom. There's a pretty gnarly hill climb at the 3.8 mile marker. One rider was talking to me and expressing concern that if it rains, they said there's a lot of clay under there. Will we be able to get out of there? Yeah, man, it's GNCC racing. You're going to figure a way out of there, you know, if they have to get towed out of there. But here we are at the FMF PowerPoint, watching these riders go by. Again, Walker Fowler continuing to lead. He's got about I would call that about a 7-second lead now over the trio.
See, I think it was Jared McClure in the number 2 spot there.
It kind of did look like he'd gotten around Richardson there. So where we at? Now we go. There's the Yamaha live drone. And I believe this is Walker Fowler and some of these chicanes heading toward the finish line region, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And that is exactly what it is. Look how, whoa. I was going to say, look how hard packed and slick that track actually looks leading up to the finish line right there. So interesting. I'm sure there's some traction there because of the moisture in the soil. But it's starting to pack up there. It wouldn't surprise me to see some black groove or some blue groove starting to form there as the race day progresses. But look at that. What was about 7 to 8 seconds a mile ago has turned into about 15. I mean, he was just starting to get into points where he could pull just ahead. And we talk about Walker Fowler. If he can get away from you, he is going to do everything that he can to, at that point, stretch himself out. And look at this. Jared McClure, the victim of the stretch out, but he is also the benefactor of second place right now, as he has won that battle between those riders, it looks like. So things are starting to stretch out as far as second place is concerned here in this Black Sky GNCC. So we see Fowler is in, we see that McClure is in, and now we see that it's a long way back to third place. So that might have not been second, third, and fourth place we were watching.
Yeah, maybe not then. We might.
But that was, I
Cole
think it was
Richardson.
McClure that was the second place rider. McClure is running, according to this, 19.4 seconds. So I'm thinking that might have been some lap traffic already. And look at this, Adam McGill's up to third. Richardson off to number 4 spot, 36.3 seconds between second and third. And now McGill, it's got about a 3.8 second lead over Cole Richardson. And see, just goes to show you, not training, eating tater chips all summer long, it pays off.
I don't have anything on my phone there, Adam. So Jared McClure,
Tammy Myers, please report to the finish line. Tammy Myers, please report to the finish line.
I don't know if I don't believe Walker Fowler pitted there. Jared McClure did take some fuel right there.
Interesting. There's Chris Borich now. Chris Borich is all the way back in 7th place position after 2 laps of racing. McGill taking, it looked like a very casual pit stop for him. There is
Cole Richardson took a pit.
Yeah, they get in, they get out in the same order. And Devin Feehan is Cole Richardson and Devin Feehan. I didn't see Devin check in there, but you know, he was only a 1.5 seconds behind Richardson. That might have been the 3-way battle we were watching right there with Richardson, Feehan, and of course McGill there. But regardless, there's Bryson Neal in 6th. There's Chris Borich in 7th now. Greg Covert we're looking in. He's dropped back, I think, from 6th to at least an 8th place position. So there's some things shaking up there, but still a lot of the same players in this top 10 early on here at the conclusion of lap 2. Lap times on lap number 2, 24 minutes, 29 seconds for Walker Fowler, 24 minutes, 43 seconds for Jared McClure, hence the 20-second gap there that you're seeing open up between those riders. 36.5 seconds back to the 3rd place position. This, I got to say, surprisingly, this race is stretching out. I figured with it being tight like it is, I really thought that the battles would be a little tighter, but this might be a whole different scenario than what we were expecting coming into this one. I know Walker Fowler would like to make it a much different scenario than what we were expecting, honestly.
You're exactly right. One of the things that, like Tracy Pickens mentioned this morning, was how dark the woods section are, and I feel like this is like old-fashioned GNCC woods racing here this weekend. And that seemed to make a difference this morning. We saw a lot of lead changes in the WXC, saw lead changes in the Pro 4x4, so I'm with you. I'm shocked that right now we're seeing these guys just spread out.
Well, and another thing to point out, you know, you mentioned the darkness in the woods and stuff, but we do have a very dark gray sky, an overcast sky today. It's not been raining. I felt a little bit of a mist there a little bit ago, but I mean, just moisture in the air basically kind of thing. But it is very thick and cloud cover, so once you get underneath that canopy of the trees, it really does darken up quite a bit. And I'll tell you, our cameras it's kind of deceiving. It looks a lot brighter than what than it really is because of the iris settings and so forth. But you can tell the difference between the woods that are dark and the lighted fields, and how much darker today the woods are than they are under normal circumstances. As we continue to roll along here, doing another quick check here. Fowler, McClure, McGill, Cole Richardson in 4th, Devin Feehan in 5th, 6th place is Bryce Neal, Chris Borge in 7th. Checking into lap 2 in 8th place, Greg Covert, Marty Christopherson now up to a number 9 spot. Josh Merritt is 10th place. Cody Collier running 11th. Wesley Wolf in the 12th place position. Johnny Gallagher is 13th and still looking to check in for his 2nd lap of racing. We'll see whether or not Owens, that College A leader, is also able to keep ahead of Ronnie Rush in the adjusted overall times, I should say. There's the 7:41 of Wesley Wolf. He just finished up a few weeks ago his AMA Pro ATV Racing Championship season. Some of his best performances coming in the final couple of rounds of GNCC. A couple top 5s and some really fast qualifying sessions for the 741 over there on the MX side of things also. There's Johnny Gallagher. He's in now. He does check in 13th place on the number 12. He's lost some time on that one too. 47.2 seconds. There's got to be something that's separating these guys out. We're only seeing a small portion of what's going on here. And what we're seeing literally is basically open field sections, maybe a few little hill climbs, but we're not seeing the gnarly as we are there at the Monster Mile. I didn't see the Monster Mile logos or anything like that there, so I thought it was just a normal section of the track. I thought they had something even more monstrous, but I thought, and I'm thinking of that, how can you have anything more monstrous than an enduro section like that?
You're right.
Especially for an ATV.
Monstrous, we cut it in half.
It must have been the Monster 2 mile at that point. So
exactly.
now it's the Monster Mile. We had to shorten that up a little bit. Hey, I'm watching. Oh man, why does that happen every time I hit that button? There he is.
That's something to kind of take note of. It is so rutted out at that finish line. I know a lot of the sport quads in the morning were having issues coming out of that finish, and we saw some of our guys right there because those big 4x4 guys, like Landon Wolf there, right here, we're rutting it out so bad. Yeah, it does.
So Ronnie Rush checking in now in the 14th place overall position. He is still your leader, the XC2 Pro-Am class, a 26:54 lap time for him. He's actually a little bit faster than Johnny Gallagher that time around, so he's closing up a little bit of that time between the two. And as we look, there's about 40 seconds that separate those two on time adjustments, or physically, I guess, on the racetrack right now. So we'll see if Rush can make up that time, or if Johnny's going to find the groove that he's searching for out there today. There's Ben Kowalewski. He checks in 15th place overall, 2nd place in the XC2 Pro-Am class, 1.2 seconds back. John Glotta up to 3rd place now. Remember, he was back in 5th, 6th place at the end of that first lap. He's up to 3rd now as we take a look at that 1.8 seconds. So that puts him 3 seconds right now behind Ronnie Rush. Looking at lap times, a 26:43 for John Glotta, and Ronnie Rush turning a 26:54. In theory, that's 11 seconds difference right there. So in theory, John Glotta should make the pass in about 2.5 miles if timing works out in that way, just simply by the fever at which he's riding at. So Glotta is 16th place overall right now. So I still have to wonder about that College A class leader of Owen, and whether or not he is still going to be a top 20 overall rider. Will he still be ahead of the XC2 Pro-Am class? Right now, no College A riders have checked in just yet. As we're watching, there is the, what's that, the number 15, I believe, checking in with us there at the finish line right now. No, that's a number
10.
10. No, 16. I can't tell.
My eyes are as bad as yours then.
I know. I can't see how
I
that
don't even have an excuse.
No, you don't. I have a lot of different excuses that I make up. Okay, there he is. Bowens has not checked in, but the new
leader in the College A class. Second place at the end of lap 1. College A new leader is Greg Paw, the 316 Honda rider. He is 22nd overall. So that gives you a little idea where that is. And also for you Hunter Hart fans right now, he's sitting in 24th place overall. I'm not sure where he is and how much longer it is going to be before he'll be checking in, but he was in the pit for a rather extended amount of time there just a few moments ago after the, well, I guess, clutch problems there on lap number 1. He said he made it, what, a mile, 2 miles?
2 miles, yeah, about the 2 mile mark.
It was like the clutch would not disengage, you know, so it was really giving him a whole lot of issues out there. It's a tough break for him. Let's check in with a couple of these other classes. See if we got riders checking in. There's Paul in. Noah Mickelson is checked in second place now in the College A class. Mickelson got the whole shot, and I believe he may have been second behind Owens at the end of the first lap, but he's now behind Paul. But regardless, it's Mickelson in second. Paul is out front. He turned a 28:23 lap time. Wow. That was a pretty intense lap. When you look at that, that was 37 seconds faster than Noah Mickelson. I know Mickelson is riding at a fever pitch out there today. Those guys are setting those trails out there on fire. It's a good thing these trails are moist, man. We might see something catch on fire as fast as they're going today.
Ripping through there.
Engulfed by this. I get amazed. I start looking around and I start seeing the trees and the red's starting to show through and the yellows. Fall is just around the corner. And I know down home in Ohio, it's nothing like this as far weather conditions. I mean, we're looking at what, 62 or 61 degrees today, I think, for the high. And that's a big change from what I left whenever I left Ohio there just a day or so ago. There's Jeremy Ladon. Ladon, I think, is one of the college riders also, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see if we can't find where he happens to be. Well, I'll tell you what, while I look for Ladon, and while we get a few things sorted out and a few more riders check in, let's take a quick break. Let's get some stuff organized, pay a few bills, and of course come back with a fever pitch and some pretty exciting racing here from the Parts Unlimited Black Sky GNCC. We'll be right back right after this.
Your bearings shoulder the burden whenever you tow, haul, or stop the gas. AMSOIL delivers powerful protection for bearings and other critical components so you can drive with confidence. To demonstrate, an independent lab put AMSOIL synthetic motor oil head-to-head against a leading competitor in a 100,000-mile test. AMSOIL provided far superior wear protection and kept engine bearings looking like new. Get your truck the protection it deserves at amsoil.com/auto.
The halfway point is here, and these riders have endured over an hour now of hard battling through the woods at extremely high heart rates, the type the average athlete couldn't even fathom for this level of distance. Can they stick with it to the end? Don't click that X. GNCC Live on RacerTV.com continues after this. We are American motorcyclists. We are members of the American Motorcyclist Association. Racers, fans, and crew. We come together for this sport we love, to race together, to grow together. We start young, and not so young. We race motorcycles and ATVs. We become friends, we become family. We compete for weekend bragging rights and national championships. We make memories on the toughest off-road courses in the country and on the best motocross tracks in the world. Some of us aspire to the speed and poise of road racing or the fierce competitiveness of American flat track, and we honor our greatest champions in the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Through it all, we cheer, we win, and we lose. We are racing. We are the AMA. Race with us. Be part of the greatest sport in the world. Be an American motorcyclist. Join us today at www.amajoin.com/join-now.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. Rodney Tomlin along with Mikey Waynes and also the newlywed himself, Landon Wolf, and I believe the 4x4 Pro Class overall winner from earlier this morning. As we welcome you back to Harpersville, New York, the return to GNCC. It's round number 10 of the AMSOIL GNCC Series. And, of course, as we roll through this 2 laps down, I am assuming probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 laps or so remaining. I didn't get a technical count of that. We are running 26-minute laps, 23. So we might be looking at a 5-lap race here. Let me check out where we are on a lap's time right now as our timing and scoring computer makes its way up here with the updated scores and all. And Mikey Waynes, here we are, and they popped up now, so we get a chance to take a look at that. So we are an hour and 3 minutes into this, 24:29, and they had a 23, so lap 3 should put us someplace in the neighborhood of about an hour and 20 minutes. And it's going to be on the hinge, man. It's going to be on the hinge as to whether or not it'd be a 4 or 5. I haven't seen. They may already have a 2-lap board out, or they may have already called it a 5-lap race. We'll try to get the word on that for sure coming up here. But, yeah, certainly a great race. Let's check in after 2 laps of racing, our top 20 overall real quick. It's Fowler, McClure, McGill, 1, 2, and 3 at last check at the end of lap 2. Cole Richardson in 4th. Devin Feehan was 5th. Bryson Neal in 6th. In 7th, Chris Borich aboard the number 3. 8th place, the number 14, Greg Covert, Marty Christopherson, 9th, Josh Merritt in 10th. Cody Collier is 11th. 12th, the 741 of Wesley Wolf, 13th, Johnny Gallagher. In 14th place position is your XC2 Pro-Am class leader. Now it's saying Ronnie Rush is leading this class, so it's quite different than what I was seeing there a few moments ago. But regardless, no, he was leading. I'm sorry. I was looking at the College A class, too, so I got a little confused there. So Ronnie is still 14th place. Ben Kowalewski in 15th place overall, 2nd in class. John Glotta, 3rd. Again, 3 seconds was all that separated him from Ronnie Rush, so we're expecting things to really intensify in that battle right now. Ronnie, in theory right now, Ronnie and John Glotta are basically wheel-to-wheel right now, and if he hasn't gotten around him yet. So John's trying to get around Ronnie. Ronnie's trying to keep him back, and we'll see how it all fares at the end of lap 3. The 82, Jordan Poplatsky running in 4th. He's 17th overall. Kenny Schick, he's 18th overall. He's 5th in class, 6th in class. Tanner Walker, 19th overall, and 7th in class, and 20th overall, the 252 of Gabe Nod out of Canada. Always put an extra little bit in it, Canada. But nonetheless, that's your top 20. Good to see the Maple Leafs coming down and joining us here in the southern tier of New York. Now, as far as class-by-class breakdowns are concerned, we got most of the XC1 and most of the XC2. Let's take a look now. There's Walker Fowler coming into this. Is this the Monster Mile section? No, it's not. It's just another one of those open field sections. They come out of that tight woods, and all of a sudden, there it is. And again, this is the 6-mile marker that we're looking at right now. And Jared McClure not real far behind. You know, in looking at that a few moments ago, I was really expecting that Walker was really going to light things up now that he had a little bit of distance between himself and the number 2 machine. But, hey, man, the Cobra is about ready to strike, I believe.
That's right.
The Sneaky Snake, he's laying in that tall grass back there. No, he's not in tall grass today. He's not a Sneaky Snake. He's riding like the Cobra today.
Yeah, exactly.
He is. I mean, normally, you know, Jared comes from out of nowhere and sneaks one in. That's why he got the Sneaky Snake name. But he's riding like the Cobra today that we know and love as well. There is the number 8 machine, I believe.
I think that was Cole. I think that was Cole Richardson on the number 5.
I got to get new glasses again. I got new glasses, and I've already worn them out.
That was one of the things Rodney and I were talking about at break. I mean, as soon as we went to commercial, I was like, I'm blown away by Jared McClure today.
Yeah.
Was it Jared McClure?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Jared McClure. You know, he's kind of had some ups and downs. He's only got 2 podium finishes on the season, and for a guy that came into the year in the number 2 spot with the number 2 number out there, I think we expected more out of him. He definitely expected more out of himself, and I think we're seeing it here today.
No doubt about that. I believe we see Adam McGill going by in a 3rd place position.
I think that was actually
was that
Bryson.
Yeah, that was Bryson Neal.
I got that mixed up early. They've got real similar gear on today.
Okay.
So my apologies
Bryson
on that.
Neal,
but
that was your
Bryson.
6th place rider. Maybe he's 5th place now. But expanding on the Jared McClure thought that you were talking about, one thing, we talked about this in the Monster Energy pre-race report. I walked up and I thought, this is really cool. He's got a white van. He races out of a van. He comes in a van. He doesn't have a motorhome.
Yeah.
He gets a hotel room. He's got 2 quads in that van, an easy up, and a toolbox. And he said, and he's the number 2 guy.
Yep.
He said, it just goes to show you don't have to have a fancy motorhome to be competitive out here. And
Right.
It makes a lot of sense. It's all about what's on the track, not what's driving you to the racetrack that wins races out there. And Jared McClure is a perfect example of that. Now, Jared used to have a motorhome a few years ago. He and Randy Hamilton quit riding together. And, I think that gets us back to where we are right now. With Randy's absence in the program this year, I don't think that Jared has been involved with other riders as much, hasn't had that bench racing opportunity, that level of being able to chat with somebody.
It makes sense.
In the first 8-9 rounds of the season. But what happened in the summer break is that Jared spent some time with other riders. He did some schools and did some camps and things like that, and went to a few other races and was able to get himself back out there and back into the flow and back into the groove. And I think that took a lot of weight off his shoulders.
Yeah.
And it might be putting him back in the right direction and putting him right back where he needs to be. There's the 14 machine of Greg Covert. That's your 8th place ride checking in with us now at this 6-mile marker. So I think a lot of it is the absence of his riding partner, Randy Hamilton. May have really hurt him at the beginning of the season, but he's found the flow and found the groove and gotten back into it. Now we're starting to see the Cobra that we know and love so well.
Getting her polished. So I believe if this is the 6-mile marker, I believe the next time we see him, will be the Monster Mile, which is what we're looking at right now. Waiting for leaders, so we should be seeing Walker Fowler pop out of that woods section.
Well, there he is, I believe.
There you go. How's that for time? No, that's not.
That sure looked like him there. It was
you're
a
right.
Yamaha.
And then, no offense to that rider, he's probably incredible, but he's going a little slow for Walker.
Well, I just thought Walker was coming in and was just eyeballing to see if there was anybody in there. Was going to try to triple the whole section here, double over maybe double into the tires or something like that. I don't know. Walker's pretty creative whenever it comes to that. Now that's Walker Fowler right there.
There you go. See, and there's just no. Well,
he jumped the tires there. You see that?
For the Monster Mile being as gnarly as it is, he makes that look pretty easy.
Yeah, that didn't look like much. I mean, it just looked like a normal part of the track. McClure, again, not far off the beaten path. They said 19 seconds at the end of lap number 2. I think he's a little closer than that 19 seconds.
I think you're right.
I think we're closer to a 15 to 13 second gap that is between those two. We'll try to do that 1/1000 thing that Johnny does on Sunday here in a minute. But wow. So there is McClure. We're looking at it should be about right now. McGill should be checking in here about any second for that 3rd place position. That's, I think, a lapped rider that's coming in right now. There is the 521. No, that is the number 5. That is Cole Richardson, the number 5, checking in with us. And he obviously, I guess, has gotten around. And there is the 521 right behind him now in the 4th place position. So Cole Train locked and loaded and rolling Cole, I guess you could say, as he is trying to catch those front 2 runners again, looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of about a 40-second deficit to that 2nd place position now. But Cole really looks to be maybe at a point where he's starting to pick things up. We are just past the halfway point as we see the number 4 there of Bryson Neal checking in. I think he's gotten around the 406 of Devin Feehan now. I didn't see the 406 go in.
406, he was in front of him.
Oh,
yeah,
he
I
was?
did see Devin take off in front of him.
Okay. All right, so I missed that one. But so Devin is still out there in the number 5 spot. Bryson Neal is in 6th. That should put Chris Board still back in the number 7 spot as there is McClure going up the hill climb out here. One of our hill climbs. And there's Chris Borch. That's a familiar Suzuki and that big number 3 stretched across his back there. And interesting, he goes to the right side and tries to bypass as much of that big log sticking out of the ground as well. Yeah. As we got dual shots going on now. I think this will give us
a mouthful. Got a lot of sponsors in there. FMF PowerPoint, Monster Energy Mile. It's, yeah.
And, you know, everybody wants to be a part of the action, and rightfully so. proud to have FMF on board with us for so many years, the Flying Machine Factory of Southern California. I think, shoot, I know since I've been doing GNCC since the late mid-90s, I think FMF has been involved in a major and monumental way. So, I mean, they're certainly a part of the woven fabric of GNCC racing.
Walker got a couple more chicanes to get through and a couple more lappers to get around.
Now, did you take note?
Yeah, second time that's happened.
Well, I want to point something out to you, and I'm kind of surprised we're seeing him do this in front of the camera, and we're seeing him do this in front of all these people, because oftentimes that's what we talk about. Those are the little things right there that Walker, his line choices, finding the smoother part of the racetrack or the shorter part of the racetrack, whatever the case may be. That's what we see and what we might have witnessed a small portion of. And that's how Walker, once he can get ahead of those guys enough where they can't see him, that's when he starts taking those Walker-Fowler lines that people talk about. Those are the ones that, you know, every racer runs across the same piece of real estate, but only Walker seems to be the one seeing a different line through there. And they're usually shorter, they're usually smoother, and they usually make up the time that we see him make up and the time that we see him stretch out, whatever the case may be and the scenario may be. Today, stretching it out. But at the same time, he's not been able to stretch things out over McClure, who was 19.4 seconds back. And now at the end of lap number 3 as they checked in, we'll see what that gap is. I'd be surprised if it's that much, to be honest with you. I'm thinking more closer to a 10-second gap, but we could still be in that near 20-second gap as our computer system updates here with us today. Cole Richardson up to 3rd, McGill in 4th, Devin Feehan still in 5th.
Yeah, Landon texted me like 10 minutes ago, but he said toss it to me. So I don't know if Landon's got something down there in the pits or not.
Landon, just turn that microphone on anytime you want to talk, buddy.
Hey, I'm here, guys.
What's going on?
It took you long enough, Mikey. I texted you.
Yeah, going to have to pull the audio down on that mic just a little bit, or get away from that speaker. So whenever you're ready, Landon, go ahead and jump right on in. 12.2 seconds, by the way, is the gap between 1st and 2nd. I knew that it looked like some of that had been shaved away. There's the number 3 checking in. That's Chris Borich now. Borich is still back in that number 7 position, the way the running order is after 3. Fowler, McClure, Richardson, McGill, Feehan in 5th. Bryson Neal in 6th. Chris Borich in 7th. We're waiting right now on Greg Covert, Marty Christopherson, 2 New York boys going at it for 8th and 9th place position, and Josh Merritt to round out the top 10. As we continue to watch here now from our Yamaha live drone at the Parts Unlimited Black Sky GNCC. But we got a little schooling there just a moment ago from the Walker Fowler School of Championship Racing and Riding there. Cut those turns short, keeping the smooth pavement or the smooth ground where the traction is best. Like I said, these turns are getting, I mean, you know, you think a big power slide going through there, it might work out that way if you drift it outright, but there might be too much going on there where Walker sees that shorter line as being the and obviously things like that work out for him. And I think that McClure is seeing the same thing. That snake, I'm telling you, he is not the sneaky snake today. He is the Cobra. He is ready to strike. He's already gained 7 seconds on the champ. 25:13 was the lap time for Walker Fowler. 25:06 was the lap time for Jared McClure. By the way, a 25:03 for Cole Richardson. Did you hear that?
Hey, he's
that was 10 seconds faster than Walker Fowler right there. Cole Richardson made up 10 seconds and a possession on that lap of racing, getting around Adam McGill. McGill, by the way, at 25:17, which is not a bad lap time, but when you got a guy turning at 25:03, that's kind of hard to make that match up against that. 25:23 for Devin Feehan, who rounds out the top 5.
He's putting more coal in the stove with that train he's driving, man.
There you go. I'm going to tell this story on mic. I told jinx him if it will. I don't think it will. Some people think that I am a jinx out there, though. But nonetheless, my daughter and I, coming back from one of her doctor's appointment the other day, we were talking GNC. She grew up in this stuff, man. She hasn't been for a couple years, so she's still an avid fan of it, and she's talking to Daddy about it. And anyway, we seen a train going by, and I was like, oh, wow, you don't see that a lot anymore. It's a train. That's a long one. She goes, that's a coal train, Dad. Look at all that coal.
And I was like, coal train. And I was like, and I looked over, I was like, by golly, and there must have been 200 coal cars on that thing. And I said, you know, that might be a sign. Cole Richardson might win this weekend. They call him the coal train. She said, and she got tickled and laughed about that. And I said, hey, don't laugh at me, baby girl. I said, it's possible. I don't know. We'll see, though. But, I mean, hey, look, 25:03. He's 10 seconds faster. He's 37 seconds back. If Walker hits some lap traffic, he keeps at that pace, and Walker slows down any. There, in theory, at this pace, there's a very good chance that Cole Richardson could surpass Jared McClure and track down Walker Fowler and challenge him for the lead by the checkers. Again, that's all theory right now.
It's entirely possible.
You out there?
Yeah,
I thought that was Landon. I think that was our camera.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Landon, too. Thought I heard him say, yeah. So, all right, so that wasn't Landon. That was our camera there, but nonetheless, still watching this. Let's see, 2 laps working on. Actually, we're 3 laps in for our leaders. So far, updating, we've got Covert checking in 8th place behind Chris Borch. Marty Christopherson is running in the number 9 spot. The gap there between those 2 riders is 1 minute and 6 seconds. Wow. So big gap between Covert and Christopherson. Christopherson clawing his way from outside the top 10 into a 9th place position over the last lap and a half or so. Josh Merritt in the number 10 spot. Wesley Wolf is the 11th. Cody Collier looking in a 12th place position if he checks in with us. We're still waiting on him to check in, though. Look at behind the scenes action and racing action on the racetrack from our Yamaha live drone. Right along, skirting the tree line here. Very flat, nice place to have a race. Nice pit areas, good cell service for everybody. And just an amazing, great new venue. You know, this is the race that we canceled last year. And folks really not understanding, well, why did you cancel? Why didn't we go racing? I thought this was GNCC racing. We go racing in the mud whenever it's GNCC. Again, folks, like I was telling everybody here earlier, it wasn't the fact that the track was too muddy last year. The fact was we couldn't. There was so much rain leading into the event that we couldn't get vehicles in. We couldn't even get our equipment in. So that tells you a lot. So that's why last year's race had to be canceled. And just because there was rain in the forecast this year didn't scare us any whatsoever. Actually, it kind of excited me a little bit because I've seen so many dry, dusty races this summer in the motocross racing world that it's time for a little bit of rain. All right, Landon's going back out. He says he's putting on his IFB, putting his ear on. He's going back out. He must have something really important.
He's got something juicy, I think.
He's got something he wants to talk about out there. There's no doubt. Was that John Glotta, the junior?
I believe that was John Glotta up there.
And let's see if
Johnny G behind him.
He's gotten around Johnny G physically on the racetrack. That puts Glotta in 13th place overall. That also puts John Glotta, as anticipated, by lap times. Remember, speculation, looking at lap times, this is what should happen. John Glotta is now your leader in the XC2 Pro-Am class.
Some big stuff coming out of the XC2, man. I'm stoked about the future of GNCC.
Man, John Glotta is going to be one to keep an eye on. I don't know if that's Landon yet or not, no. But nonetheless, big things coming out of there. John, you know, the thing about it is John is a very seasoned young rider, if that makes any sense.
It does,
he's one of these riders, like Walker Fowler, coming through the ranks. And though John may have not been the prodigy child that Walker Fowler was, there's been a lot of hype, a lot of talk, a lot of interest, and a lot of eyes on John Glotta since he started racing back, I think, in that, probably the 125 class or something like that, whichever class it was that we started to see. His dad races, his brothers race. I mean, it's a family affair. So, I mean, it's all about racing in his family. So, it's just a natural progression for this young man. And, you know, for him, you know, they say that step from XC1 or from XC2 to XC1 is pretty big. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I have to wonder if that's going to be as big a step for John Glotta as it has been for some riders. Why, you ask? I think a lot of it is just his pure style, his madness. I know Walker was very fast and crazy like that in the XC2, but the one thing that John Glotta has that I think over some of these other riders is his size.
I think
he's
a lot
6'7". I don't know, maybe not that tall.
Right.
But he's definitely a tall guy.
But I think that size will play to his advantage in being able, especially in modern-day GNCC racing, I think that size will begin to play to his advantage once he gets into those upper echelons of the XC1 classes in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but that's my theory on that. 25 years I've been doing this, Mike. I've been wrong a couple of times.
I'd say you've done pretty well, though. Your over-under's good. And John Glottis, too, like, you can't find a more humble rider, always smiling. I love interviewing the guy.
I can't get him to interview. I can't find him to interview.
Well, he's kind of shy, but if you're going to do that well.
Is that you? Is that you, Landon?
This is me. Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Oh, that's fantastic. We had a little bit of issues down here in the pits, and I had some guys that I wanted to talk to, but I wanted to fill you guys in. I know Hunter Hart is back outside of the top 50 overall. He had some clutch issues that he had to get taken care of early on. Another thing I want to take note of is the JMR crew down there in the number 2 spot. As you guys may or may not. As you guys may or may not know, this is Jared's home state for local racing. So I know this is a big one for him. I know he's got a lot of fans out here, and you know, this means a lot to him. He's got a lot of people rooting for him. And the pits down there looks pretty calm. So I know they're looking for a win, and still we got a lap and a half left, and it's, everybody down here in the pits is definitely rooting for him. Everybody wants to see somebody really put it to Walker and give him some competition, but we know Walker doesn't take that easily.
That's very true, and thanks a lot for that update. And, you know, thanks for pointing out the fact that, Jared, this is a home, you know, we talked about all the New York riders, and even Jared pointed out, you know, this is, you know, Nioa race. We announced him from Casca, Pennsylvania, but the thing we got to realize is Casca is basically right there on the state line, or right close to the state line. So a lot of the racing, he has to come up here to Nioa in New York and do his racing. So this is his home state for racing, just like Landon Wolf just pointed out there. And that, again, might be the reason that we're seeing him progress so strongly here today. But I think that's just a small part. There's a lot of elements going into, I think, the Cobras right here today. And you know what? Wesley's right. I mean, everybody's excited. They're anticipating. They're seeing that McClure is turning a faster lap time than Walker Fowler. They're seeing that gap is starting to stretch. They're listening to us talk about it, so they know that it is well within the realm of possibility for something like that to happen. Cole Richardson, by the way, another rider we're keeping an eye on. He was 37 seconds behind McClure. Will he be able to close that gap up? He was about 4 seconds faster than McClure, and actually 10 seconds faster than Walker Fowler. So this is going to be pretty exciting, as we pointed out a few moments ago, as we run down and run through this last lap and a half or so of racing. It looks like we got another red background number plate coming in. Is that the 14 machine we're watching there? No, he's already checked in. Greg Cobert's already in, so we'll see who this rider is checking in with us in just a moment and try to get some names on it. Jordan Poplawski, Ronnie Rush is in the XC2 Pro-Am. Ben Kowalewski is in. Actually, Kowalewski up to second. Rush is in third, and Poplawski, I guess, back in that number 3 spot of the XC2 Pro-Am. And we continue here to wait and see who these riders are checking through. Steve Covert, that's who we saw going back there. We saw Matt Blankenship. We saw David Dunham checking in. Cody Berry checking in. Kenny Schick checking in. Gabe Nod checking in. And Kevin Yoho. Kevin Yoho leading the Vet A30 Plus class. He waxed them at the, what was that? The high voltage GNC. Now, see, we've seen Kevin was an XC1 rider.
Yeah.
He retired from XC1 class racing, and a coal miner, by the way. Just want to point that out. He went, he took a little time off, came back, raced a little bit in the XC2 class. I think he, every once in a while, would race in the XC1 class, then drop down to the XC2 class. Started having pretty good luck there. And then it kind of faded back again and disappeared. And then all this action started happening in the Vet A class with Pickens. And now Lancaster is back with us. And so many different names they're gracing us in the Vet A class. And Kevin Yoho said, well, I'm over 30 years old. That looks like an awfully fun class. And so he jumped into that class, and he has certainly made some waves as far as the vet A30 plus class is concerned. Let's take a look at some of these other classes right now, Mikey, if you want. I know we're well past the halfway point, an hour and 26 minutes in this class, and we haven't looked at all the classes yet.
You're right.
So if you want to take a break, slam down that Monster energy drink that you're working on right now.
This is my 6th one I've had. I'm kidding.
I was going to say, dude,
safe.
you should be
That's
vibrating
my
right now.
first one.
Oh, that's Monster juice right there.
It's delicious.
Energy
Mango
juice.
Loco.
Oh, I love that
Yeah,
stuff.
they're very good.
All right, so again, top 20 overall. This is after 3 laps of racing complete. In the top 20 overall, this incorporates XC1, XC2, College A, and all that. Walker Fowler, Jared McClure, Cole Richardson, Adam McGill, and Devin Feehan, your top 5. Bryson Neal in 6th, Chris Borich in 7th, Greg Covert in 8th, Marty Christophers in 9th, Josh Merritt rounding out the top 10. Then 11 through 20, Wesley Wolf in 11th, Cody Collier in 12th, John Glotta, leader of the XC2 Pro-Am class in 13th, Ben Kowalewski, 2nd in that class, 14th overall, Johnny Gallagher, 15th overall, Ronnie Rush, 3rd in the XC2 Pro-Am class, running 16th overall, Jordan Paplaski is 17th, 22nd, the 18th is the 22, I should say, of Tanner Walker, XC2 rider, Gabe Knott from Canada, the 252, and 19th overall, and Kenny Schick, XC2 Pro-Am rider, 191, rounds out your top 20 in the overall. As far as the top 10 in the XC2, again, it's looking like, well, I got the College A pulled up here. So we'll go ahead and take a look at those College A class riders. They should be checking in with the 3rd lap any time now. Got some pit stops going on for Hunter Hart. What a heartbreaker for that rider. If you're just joining us, pretty decent start for the rider. Had a good run going, and about 2 miles in, he started having some clutch issues. They came back to the pits, did some work on that clutch, and got him back out. And he's way behind as far as that is concerned, but he's trying to at least break into that top 20 today. As we go to the XC2 Pro-Am class, Glotta, Kowalewski, Ronnie Rush, Jordan Poplansky is 4th, Tanner Walker in 5th, 252, Gabe Knott in 6th, Kenny Schick in 7th. Then Matthew Blankenship, the 127 and 8th in the XC2 class, 9th. Steve Covert, the 27 from out of Ithaca. And Pierre Yves Dinol, the 269 from Contrecoeur, Canada, rounds out your top 10. Our brother from the north, I guess we could say. As we look next at the College A class, and seen some big changes in this one as this race is worn on, but right now it's Garrison Paul after 3 laps of racing, a 1 and 15-second lead out over the number 400 of Noah Mickelson. And all that, most of that gap being basically gained on that lap of racing. Mickelson 29.50 to a 29.07 on Garrison Paul. Dylan Walraven, the 622, running in 3rd out of Dallas, Georgia. Matthew Reese, the 307, is 4th out of Elmira, New York. In 5th of the College A class is Bruce Barnett out of Wiley'sville, New York on the 322. Then 6th, Corey Vandeliner. Mikey Nichols in 7th aboard the 919. 73, Tyler Swindell in 8th. 9th is Chase Allison, the 470. And 10th is Dylan Hagerman. Watching at the finish line, well, we watch some of these classes right now. Don't see any front 3 row class riders checking in, so we go next in our class order. I believe this will be our junior 25 plus class that we'll be taking a look at now. Computers being a little bit grouchy.
I guess.
What's that? Go ahead.
You don't know. What do you know?
So it sounds like Landon Wolf is standing by with Alicia McCormick. Landon, what's going on, buddy?
I was just down here talking to Alicia. Honestly, I flipped the mic on accident. But while we have you here, let's talk to Alicia McCormick a little bit. Talk a little bit about this morning. You weren't able to race this morning, but we had some really good racing. And Lane, coming off a big overall win from the last race, had some issues. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Lane, he broke his chain today, and it got wrapped around his sprocket, so unfortunately that ended his day. He was in 3rd overall, I think, when that happened and leading his class, but these guys had a good battle going, the top 3 in the 4x4 Pro. I don't know where he was going to finish, but, you know, we'll get fixed up and come back for the next round.
So what do you think about what's going on out here today? What do you think? I mean, we got Jared McClure at the last checkpoint, 12 seconds behind Walker. McGill's hanging in there. Cole Richardson's hanging in there. What do you think? What do we got going on?
He doesn't have the nickname Sneaky Snake for nothing. He's coming.
And you think Walker will be able to hold him off?
I think it's going to be a good battle till the end, and I hope he gives him a run for his money.
Yeah, absolutely. Either way, whoever wins, we just want a really good battle down here in the pits. That's what everybody wants to see. Back to you, Rodney.
All right, thanks a lot. You're absolutely right, Landon. And Michael McAvoy leading the Junior A22 Plus class as we continue with some of these updates. Bruce Weiland, the 203 from Ranshaw, Pennsylvania, running in second. Mitchell Kidd, I should say, the 312 from Hewitt, New Jersey, running in third. Fourth place, Josh Haney, the 36 from Upper Black Eddy, Pennsylvania. Fifth place in the 228, Nick Davidson from Steubenville, Ohio. Junior A22 Plus. Sixth place, Jeremy Ladon, the 991. Seventh place, the 25, Brody Livingood. Eighth place, the 44 of Luke Shepard. Ninth place, Alex Elioff. And rounding out the top 10, the 450 of Ben Danner there in that Junior A22 Plus class. Something interesting to point out there. We talk about all the ATV motocrossers, crossovers. Noah Mickelson from the College A class. We got a couple of them here in the Junior A class. Jeremy Ladon, former motocross racer, and also the husband of Megan Shepard, Luke Shepard, in this class, also a former motocross racer himself. By the way, Megan, a 3-time ATV motocross women's class champion. I know she was running second behind Tracy earlier today.
Tough last lap for her. I think she was kind of the fell victim of a very, very determined Caitlin Osborne, who had a horrible start and ended up, she was like second to last after lap 1 and ended up taking second place. And then Sadie Gurrell rounded out that box. But yeah, Megan Shepard actually got her first win in WXC here at GNCC back at Tomahawk this season. So I believe, from what I understand, I think she's the only female to have a WMX win and a WXC win.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I don't recall anyone else ever doing that in GNCC and ATV Moto like that. So that's pretty
cool.
That is pretty cool. And I don't reckon. Well, no, Jessica Patterson maybe did it on the two-wheel side of things. No, in motocross, in women's motocross. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting feat to be the first woman to be able to pull, especially in ATV racing. Because I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the two-wheel racing or anything, but man, when you get to this level of competition in the women's class in four-wheeler racing, it's a whole different world than any other type of racing, and it's challenging to say the least. Not saying that racing isn't for all the other classes, but that women's class in ATVs, it gets really challenging across the board.
Anytime you can get a win on the same track in the same class as Tracy Pickens, you're doing pretty damn well.
Actually, you most certainly are. Hey, looking at that Vet A30 Plus class now, Kevin Yoho out front, 3 minutes 13 seconds over Big Papa P. If he was trying to make a statement, I think he's making it. I don't know. Maybe Jeff made him mad. Jeff Pickens made him mad. I was going to. Brad Whitehead. There's Walker Fowler now, and there's some of that lap traffic we were talking about that might play favor to. Look at that. He's slowing him down quite a bit. That's kind of stuff plays favor to this guy. Number 2 of the Cobra. You know, Sneaky Snake we call him, but he's in Cobra mode today. That's less than 12 seconds we're looking at right there.
Now you just got to hope that those lappers that Walker was struggling to get around realize that Jared McClure's right there. They got to get out of the way. We got to race.
We most certainly do. Continuing with the Vet A class, keep an eye on this wood line right here. Kevin Yoho, Jeff Pickens, Brad Whitehead in third, Chris Conklin, the number 48 from Sisterville, West Virginia, in fourth. Dirk DeCesar, the 494 from Mineral Ridge, Ohio, rounding out your top 5 in the Vet A 30 Plus class. So looking next at our senior 40-plus class that we'll be taking a look at with amateur stuff. There's the number 5 of Cole Richardson checking in. That gap still seems to be pretty monumental there. At one point, he's turning 10-second faster lap than Walker, but only 4 seconds faster than McClure. So we don't see a lot of time gained right there, I don't think, if any at that time.
Yeah.
I almost would go out on a limb and say it was a little larger that time. But maybe. So let's see. Still trying to get out of this Vet A30 Plus class. There we go. Senior 40 Plus. Tom Barrett. There's a new name up front. Tom Barrett out of Morrisville, New York. The 451 ride has the lead now over Brian Shaw, the 828 out of Harrisville, PA, who had a pretty decent lead there earlier. 32 seconds is the gap. Mark Batson, former ATV motocross racer for the Media All-Stars team, 636 out of LaSalle, Michigan. In third, the 410 of John Salsa from Warwick, Rhode Island in fourth. Michael Hayes, the 42 from Rocky Face, Georgia, rounding out your top 675. By the way, 6th place, 671 of Dale Batson, also a former ATV motocross racer, running in the 6th place position. Tom Lodbell in 7th, Kevin Sims in 8th, Jeff DeFore in 9th, and Mike Stevens rounds out your top 10 senior A40 plus class riders. As we continue to watch things going on here through the Monster Mile, Mikey, anything happening in that last class rundown?
No, it looks like pretty much out of the XC1, things are getting a little spread out. Obviously, the big story, that battle for number 1, if Jared McClure can catch up, and then just as I say that, these guys rolling in here 1, 2, 3 like that.
All right, while we get this all sorted out there, let's take a look at the College B class now.
Now you got Walker out there in those that little open field section next to the pond.
Yeah, that's just such a nice ride, especially when you're out front like that. We're going to get a what I would say well, the real timing and scoring gap between first and second now that this lap traffic has come into play in this one.
White flag.
White flag is out. 1 lap to go. That's 4 laps down now and 1 to go, making it 5 for our leaders out there. So we'll come back down to this College B class hopefully here in a minute. I'm going to have to go back to the internet. This is just... So we'll get the official gap between first and second place. We've seen the number 2 check in, and if he hasn't yet, that I was looking at the computer. So
I believe he did, yeah.
He had to have, unless something really big happened. I'm looking at this computer right now trying to make it do its thing as we look at the Yamaha live drone in the meantime.
So Walker Fowler lap time 25:13 and Jared McClure 25:08. So he's about 7.5 seconds back.
Another 5 seconds gained right there. So 7.5 seconds. It'd be interesting to see whether or not Cole Richardson, the Cole train, was able to make up. I'm thinking that Cole might have lost a little bit of time on that last lap. But, hey, you can't take anything out of from his ride here. A 3rd place position, you know, you go out, you could push the envelope and maybe find yourself further back in the pack. Or you can say, okay, it's a 3rd place today. I'm going to settle in for that. We're going to take those 3rd place points, and we're going to do the best with that, working towards the championship or the overall top 5 as we possibly can.
Cole Richardson checks in there at the finish line, 47 seconds back on Jared McClure.
It's only losing about
Not
5 seconds. And so in reality, I don't think that Cole slowed down. I think that Jared actually sped up that 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not taking anything away from Cole train at this particular point for sure. So we look, keep an eye there. We're going to look at the College B class now. Dalton Keys out of Holton, Indiana, leading Keegan Walker, the 929 of Berlin, Pennsylvania. Got the 755. Brandon Clark out of Lockwood, New York in the number 3 spot. The 527 of Aaron Greenwell from Breach Grove, Indiana is running 4th. Clayton Whitney, the 713 from New Milford, Pennsylvania, is 5th. 6th through 10th now, Evan Barnett, the 701, and 6th, 7th is Caden Ryan, the 832. 8th place is Brody Burlew. He's the 423. 9th place, 362, Cole Burlew. And Hunter Godsey, the number 624, rounds out your top 10. I got to wonder, are Brody and Cole Burlew brothers? They're both from Cortland, New York. Yeah. And I have to wonder also, was the orders from Mom when they went out on the track today, you boys ride together, make sure you keep an eye on each other, and neither one of you, if one of you gets hurt, the other one helps
right.
out, you know? They're running nose to tail right now in that College B class. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, no, Mama Burlew did not say that. These guys are just, that's just how they're riding today.
I did notice Cole Richardson there in the pits getting a little fuel, a little splash of gas and back out. So they must not have thought, 1 lap, we don't think you're going to be able to make it on what fuel you got left. So
you know,
it's going to put him a little further back. I don't know if either of the front 2 guys did, though. We didn't see that.
Gas mileage this season has been kind of interesting to watch these riders.
It has.
We've seen a couple of riders run out of gas. It's cost some wins, I think,
yep.
for Bryson Neal.
Bryson Neal.
And we've seen other riders running out of gas. So I think that was kind of earlier in the season. A lot of people got bit, and a lot of people witnessed that, got bit by watching them. They're like, well, I don't want that to happen to me.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot more conservancy, I think, over the course of this season since that's happened than what we were seeing with people taking the risk. However, there are a couple of riders that are still rolling the dice, you know. We see that happening too. And Chris Borch, we saw him do that a few rounds ago leading into the break. And it paid off for him. He nearly ran out of gas, but it paid off for him.
Yep.
All right, we were looking at College B last time, and we're going to take a look next at the Junior B 22+ class, and then we got Justin Eisen, the 541 from Metamora, Indiana, leading that one. Josh Adams, I should say, the 242 out of Sailorsburg, PA, in second. 7-11, Jonathan Cryanbull out of Bristol, West Virginia, is third. Joshua Clark out of Gillette, PA, the 428 in fourth. Rounding out the top five, the 425 of Austin Manicotti out of Bath, New York. Then in sixth place is Nate Hoke. Brett Armstrong runs in seventh. Lucas Johnson in the eighth place position. Travis Mathias, he is ninth. And Dylan Holloway rounds out your top 10 in the Junior B 22+ class here. An hour and 43 minutes into this race. Aaron Hendershot leading the Vet B 30+ class. He's riding the 120 out of Mansfield, Ohio. 222, Sean Tice out of Mifflinburg, Pennsylvania, is second. 421, Jordan Wilkins from Homer, New York, in third. Fourth place, the 426, Clifford Margerson from Bath, New York. Then it's Cody Stewart in fifth aboard the 813 from Pleasant City, Ohio. Vet B 30+, sixth place then. Cody Holcomb with Jesse Akins in seventh place position. Nick Miller running in the number 8 spot. Frederick LaSalle in the number 9 spot. And Dave Ashby rounds out the top 10 in the Vet B 30+ here in this Black Sky GNCC. Next up, we'll be taking a look at the Senior B 40+ class. And as we get those guys sorted out for you, we'll let you know how things are breaking down here. Still thinking about it, right? So getting ready to go into that Senior B class, our final results that we run down here on this lap. And then we're going to set the stage for the closing lap that'll be coming up here pretty soon for our XC1 Pro class. Mikey, I tell you, as we wait to let you know in anticipation of the Senior B 40+ class here in just a second. Again, Black Sky is living up to its name here. We got a gray sky if nothing else. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'll bring you your I'll bring you your Senior B 40+ class standings after 3 laps of racing complete, coming up here in just a few moments. And then we will also start setting the stage for the final push and the checkers. Big question is right now, will the Cobra be able to strike? He's making up time, he's making up ground. Can Jared McClure steal the win away from Walker Fowler? Stick around, GNCC Live continues right after this.
Consistent clutch fuel is vital to effective starts or to confidently maneuver around obstacles on the trail. AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil was subjected to an extreme simulated start test. After 32 simulated race starts, AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil continued to deliver consistent clutch feel, and the clutch plates remained clean with no visible wear. The competitor's oil, however, allowed discoloration and significant wear after just 16 starts. AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil. Give your bike the protection it needs.
We are American motorcyclists. We are members of the American Motorcyclist Association. Racers, fans, and crew. We come together for this sport we love, to race together, to grow together. We start young and not so young. We race motorcycles and ATVs. We become friends, we become family. We compete for weekend bragging rights and national championships. We make memories on the toughest off-road courses in the country and on the best motocross tracks in the world. Some of us aspire to the speed and poise of road racing or the fierce competitiveness of American flat track, and we honor our greatest champions in the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Through it all, we cheer, we win, and we lose. We are racing. We are the AMA. Race with us. Be part of the greatest sport in the world. Be an American motorcyclist. Join us today at www.amajoin.com/join-now.
And welcome back to Harpersville, New York for this, the Parts Unlimited Black Sky GNCC. I'm Rodney Tomlin along with Mikey Waynes, Landon Wolf out and about here, and of course, the closing moments of this inaugural running of the the Sneaky Snake, a.k.a. the Cobra, today make some waves and make that strike for that win. We're going to find out right now, though. Our senior B40 plus class, as promised, Daniel Dakota, the 391 from Lansdale, Pennsylvania, is leading that one. Former motocross champion, actually, in the senior 40 plus class over there. Remy Houlet, the 402. He is running in the number 2 spot. Jeff Harvey, Hardcore Harvey, the 918 out of West Union, West Virginia, is third. Fourth place, the 420 of Scott Barrett. He's out of Chittenango, New York. And then fifth place, the 357 of Leon Barnabowski out of Maha, New Jersey. Then sixth place, the 403, Jason Limley. Lyle Morrison, the 93 and 7th. Carl Mesner, the 416 and 8th. And Michael Golden, the 514, rounds out the 9 in the senior B40 plus class. And there you have it. Back down in the pits. There's
Hardcore Harvey.
Yep, he's getting some gas from the mustache himself. That's Mark McGill out there. And yeah, Harvey in. Yeah, it's good when you got friends like that, you know, in,
Heck yeah.
in low places, like McGill's pits. You know? if that's my low place that I got friends, I'm doing all right. Yeah, no doubt, man. That's a fun place to be playing and hanging, no doubt.
Won't ever be thirsty.
Nuh-uh. They got more bottled water than those pits than any place I've ever been in my life. You'd think that they were sponsored by Mother Nature and H2O.
Right.
Well, Fowler leading this one about 14 minutes, Mikey Waynes, is what we're anticipating, just under that. Fowler checking in for the checkers from McClure. A few seconds back in second, and Cole Richardson in third. Bryson Neal is up to fourth. He was running sixth, and it seemed like he was hung out there for a while in that sixth place position, but he's gotten around Adam McGill and Devin Feehan. So Neal is in fourth, Adam McGill in fifth, Devin Feehan drops to sixth. Still got to say this is the best ride Devin Feehan has had in his XC1 pro racing career. Chris Borich running in seventh. When you can beat the six-time GNCC champion and the guy that's got 75 wins, yeah, you're doing pretty good, I think. Devin's going to be able to take a lot of great things away from this race day. Borich back in the number 7 spot. Covert is 8th, Josh Merritt in 9th, and Marty Christopherson rounds out the top 10. Taking a look at lap times, 25:13, 25:08. That is about a 5-second difference between Fowler and McClure. There is 7.6 seconds that separate them physically on the racetrack. So if lap times alone, it will be a 2.6-second difference if those guys ran identical lap times from lap number 4 to lap number 5. We know the nature of GNCC.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't work like that. Oftentimes these guys, and especially in this position, Walker Fowler's going to want to try to put the push on, and he's going to do that. But he feels the pressure coming in from Jared McClure right now. He knows he's in Cobra mode today. He knows he's a sneaky snake, but he can tell he's in Cobra mode. But the other factor to point out here is lap traffic. That 2.5 seconds can either A, be monumental because of lap traffic and a mistake trying to get through them, or it can close things up and switch things around and put Walker Fowler at a disadvantage. So this is tight. This is not the place that Walker Fowler wanted to be heading into the final lap of racing here at this Black Sky GNCC. But it is right where Jared McClure likes to be.
Yeah, you're 100% right. We saw that lap traffic you're talking about affect Walker Fowler right there in that section on your screen, that Monster Mile. 2 lappers were kind of in the way of Walker Fowler getting there, and that kind of opened up the window for McClure a little bit to chip away at that deficit.
Which kind of answers the question that you had
are the lappers getting out of the way for Jared McClure once they see that Walker? I think that they are. I think that because we've seen consistently the last 3 laps, he has turned a faster lap than Walker Fowler. Fowler on the first lap is where he did all his work, did all the damage to the rest of the field and the rest of everybody out there on the track. Jared McClure's just been trying to fight back from that, and he's been doing as good a job as anybody's going to be able to do today, I think. Well, that was rather interesting. Did you see that?
A little fast forward action.
Yeah, that looked like watching old silent movies or something. A little glitch in that. But you know, I got to tip my hat again to the TEP crew, Jordan, Dan over here at Racer TV, all those guys. They worked so hard. We had a new layout, new facility. Didn't know what we were dealing with. They ran into a lot of obstacles with terrain and all these thick trees and things out here. And I just want to say, tipping my hat to the entire Racer TV crew. You guys did an excellent job. I know they were sweating bullets there yesterday about 5 o'clock. And Dan said, this isn't the first time this has happened. We will get this. We will get this. He was being optimistic. And Dan Reinhardt, you got it, buddy. You guys doing a great job. You nailed it once again. And, you know, I got to say, since we started Racer TV, I have been so impressed with what we're able to do with this technology out here. I mean, we pushed the technology past its limits, well past the limits. These things are designed for open air, point-to-point shots. Yeah. And we're going over hills and mountains and through trees and through buildings and everything else. And these guys, really, so Racer TV crew, top notch. I think they deserve a special award.
I agree.
When we go to the banquet this year, because they have really come a long way, especially here in 2019. So way to go, boys and girls. There's been
that's right.
Yeah. So now that I'm done patting everybody on the back, and rightfully so, deservedly so. Let's take a look. 13 minutes now. 13, just under 14 minutes, I think. Maybe even a little less than that. I think it's less than that. We might be getting closer to the 10-minute range as computer continues to update here. What's your take on this? What are you thinking? Is Jared McClure, is he making that? I mean, we're not seeing the camera shots. I'm not hearing any updates coming in from the radio. Do you think that Jared is actually making that strike? The sneaky snake is slithering in, ready to make that strike? I mean, he's definitely in a great position with the white flag for him.
Yeah, I want to see it. I'll put it that way. I mean, I love Walker. I know it's always like the Walker-Fowler show, but quite frankly, when you're the guy out front, that's just kind of how it ends up being. So, yeah, to see him get up there, I think he's perfectly capable of it. Regardless, I think at this point where McClure finishes, well, I shouldn't say regardless. I think if he finishes in that number 2 spot, he's going to be real happy because the best he's done all season, he's got 2 third-place finishes, and he's got a couple of races he didn't even finish.
Exactly.
So he's got to be able to come away from summer break, come out here in technically speaking, race number 1 of silly season, and he's got to feel good about it.
And like you say, I'm with you. A second is a win today when you look at what this season has gone like for him and how things have unfolded, you know. So I'm in total agreement with you right now. Now, my speculation, I asked you the question, put you in the spot, you were able to dance around the question.
That's why I sit behind a microphone, right? We gotta work around that.
Yeah, I'm going to answer that question.
You're not scared of it.
I'm not
You're
scared.
tenured. See, I'm still kind of new.
I think that there is a high likelihood that Jared is going to be able to pull this off.
In the Monster Mile.
In the Monster Mile.
You think that's where it's going to happen?
I think he'll make up some ground, depending on where lap traffic is. If there's lap traffic there, I think he'll make up some ground. But I think it's going to be somewhere between the Monster Mile.
Well, here, no, that wasn't the Monster Mile.
Well, I might have stuck my foot in my mouth right there because what I was expecting to see coming out of this section right here is not what we were seeing in races before. We've already surpassed that 5 to 7 second gap that we're anticipating seeing right now. So here we are. So maybe not. Might have put too much faith in the snake today, but regardless, here he comes with a fever pitch, and he is hot on the hammer as he rolls past the 6 mile mark right here. Still in the number 2 place, but quite a bit of more real estate than what we saw last time around. So must have ran into some lap traffic of his own, some track issues out there somewhere. But again, still a few more miles, about 3 more miles or so to go. So it's not over till it's over. We'll be keeping an eye on this. And again, I'm with Mikey. This is a win. When you look at the season so far, the way it's been going
the number 2 machine, this puts him back on track, and this is the kind of ride that the riders need to get them back into the flow of things. And I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of exciting things as far as the rest of the 2019 season is concerned, with as far as Jared McClure is concerned, because he's sitting in 6th place right now in points, but 5th is not far ahead, 4th's not far ahead, 3rd's not that far ahead, and 2nd, really in the grand scheme of things, not real far ahead. So I got to think that if Jared starts picking up some really good finishes here in the latter part of the year, he's going to try to position himself for that number 2 plate again, or a number 3 plate, because wearing that number 2 plate, it may not be a championship plate, but hey, it carries a lot of weight. As Landon Wolf joins us here in studio for just a moment, Landon, and you fresh out of the XC1 class and now into the 4x4 Pro class, and you know what it's like to wear those lower numbers. The 7, I guess, you had at one point in the XC1 class. You're, what, 2nd and number 2 coming into this 4x4 Pro class in 2019. The weight of those numbers are a lot heavier than what people think. I mean, it looks like just a piece of vinyl, a piece of graphics, and some ink slapped on your bike, but there's a lot of weight carried around.
Yeah, there sure is. I know, everybody wants their race wins and everybody wants their good finishes throughout the season, but all these results just add up to one big thing, and that's what number you get to put on your bike for next year. And I know Walker's had that number 1 there for a while, but from 2 through 5 or 6 has been just a constant battle, and it's always getting mixed up. We have Chris Borch back in the number 2 spot. Last time he was number 2 was before all of his championships. So
that would be neat to see Chris back on.
It would be. He'd have to go with like a retro graphic kit or something.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it does. It carries a lot of weight, and it means a lot to these riders, and they just want, we're down here into the last couple races of the year, and it's crunch time. It's crunch time. It's time to make up these points, and I know at this point Jared has the number 2, and it's not looking like he's going to be able to regain that this year. But he definitely wants to finish this year strong with some good finishes.
Well, he's sitting in 6th right now. He can make that number. I mean, a 6, I mean, a 4 or a 5 or a 3, maybe even, depending on how the rest of the season goes, certainly would be a lot nicer to wear than the number 6. But any number you can have in a top 20, I think, or even in a top 50 in the GNCC racing world is a very hard number to come by.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you come out and you finish all these GNCCs. That's a pretty good accomplishment. So, yeah, I mean, I remember back in the day it was college B class, and when I was running college B, you just wanted to get to the top 20. Then you get to college A, and you just want to get to the top 10, and you always want more, and then Walker even wants more at all times. So, but he's really got to want it here today, and we're waiting here. It looks like at the is this the Monster Mile, Rodney?
Yes, this is the Monster Mile.
Here we have Walker Fowler coming out on screen. So we have we'll see here how far Jared is behind. It does not look like Jared has closed up on the rear wheels.
No,
or anything
actually,
like that.
we were just pointing out it looks like that Jared actually lost some time on that.
He's definitely lost some time
in the last 4 miles or so. Last few times we saw him,
there
he was
is
within
right
about
there.
5 to 7 seconds, and now
he's about 20 seconds behind right now. So maybe he realized that today wasn't going to be the day that he overtook Fowler, and he said, I'm gonna stay calm and ride this one out and take this 2nd place finish that I already have in the bag.
Well, regardless, he's putting on a remarkable ride today. Turning things around, and he's got to be stoked with looking at the final 3 races after this one is concluded. And I think it's going to make him hungry. 4 wins. He saw that he was faster than Walker at a good majority of this race, but in the beginning of the race and the end of the race, that's where Walker really seems to be shining the brightest. There's the number 5 really checking in now.
Yeah, Cole Richardson coming through, but like you were saying, it was kind of weird there at the beginning of the race. Immediately, everybody got all spread out. The entire XC1 class seemed to really get spread out.
That doesn't happen very often.
Oh, this guy just lost his seat. No, not that early on. And then, in my opinion, it seemed to tighten back up as the race went on, which is the complete opposite from what we're used to. So, and there we have Bryson Neal coming through. I know some people were looking there in the pits because Bryson was having a good last 2 laps, and I know Cole's pits were, they were making sure they let him know that he is coming. You got to stay on it. So
Yep. So Neil, 24.8 seconds was the gap that we saw whenever they finished up that fourth lap of racing there just a few moments ago. But yeah, you got to wonder, does this set the stage for maybe a different ending to the championship in 2019, something different and maybe something new and exciting, you think, maybe preluding that?
I think it could definitely set the stage for something to look forward to as we roll into Florida or Big Buck or wherever we go first next year. Yeah, I mean, I know Jared's had a little bit, he's number 2 obviously at the end of last year, and he just had a really rough start, and that explains him sitting 6th sixth in points right now. And I don't know, maybe he had a good summer, took some time off, and he's ready to get back at it, and he's really starting to put it together. But yeah, I mean, maybe it is something that we can look forward to for next year, or even these last couple of races we can have an all-out brawl at Ironman.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think this is something even more immediate than next season. Now, I think what these next 3 races after this, I think that's what's going to build the excitement for the first rounds. And here we go, folks, coming into the closing moments as we watch our Yamaha live drone. Walker Fowler into the final turns, looking for win number 8 here in 2019 and putting the seal on the deal at the inaugural running of this Parts Unlimited Black Sky GNCC. 2 turns to Hart.
Not that, but it'd be nice to see some good competition, but he's just an animal. He's just proven to do it over and over and over again.
Yeah, and I'm in total agreement with you, man. I love to see Walker win. I love to see Walker race, and I'm with you. I want to see more competition, and I want to see it nail biter right down to the wire. Not that this wasn't a good and exciting race by no stretch, because it was an exciting race. It had a lot of great elements to it, and still does before these checkers fly. But we all like that nose to tail, who's going to win this photo finish type racing.
I think Walker just likes it the way he's doing it, though.
He does.
I think he's pretty happy with how things are going.
He likes the exact opposite of what we as race fans love.
Yes, yeah.
And he's apologetic of that, but
yeah, I mean, come on, man.
He says, "I'm sorry. I understand you guys want to see it that way, but I can't handle it that way."
He's just a beast. He's just a beast, and he works hard for it. So yeah, take what he earned, right?
That's it. So we got Walker Fowler and McClure, and Cole Richardson will settle up the score for a 3rd place position finish. A good place for him.
Here we have Adam McGill and Chris Borch battling for the final spot, and I know these last couple corners are tight, so it's going to be tough for Chris to make the pass there.
All right, we'll see. Here we go. Bryson Neal is in, obviously, with 4th place, and who's going to get these checkers between McGill and Borch? I think they said coming up. Borch must have gotten around Devin Feehan also.
He sure did. Feehan just was rolling through the finish line area right there.
So I guess it's going to be Fowler, put in the Marty Christopherson looks like he should round out the top 10 overall, but he's got John Glotta back there, who's turning a 10-second faster lap time than him, and on time adjustments, wow, was less than about 15 seconds difference on time adjustments. So we might see Glotta take a top 10 overall here today whenever it's all said and done.
Yeah, no, it started off a little bit slow, but he really started to come on strong there at the end, and I guess we should be seeing him coming in here soon, right?
Yes. Tammy Myers, by the way, Tammy Myers, report to the scoring trailer, I believe it is. Tammy Myers, if you are or know the whereabouts of Tammy Myers, we need Tammy Myers to the scoring trailer as soon as possible. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. Will John Glotta be able to get 10th place overall, surpassing Marty Christopherson or not? Look at that smile.
That's what
I thought this morning. I know, you know, he just does a lot of racing up here. I knew this would be a good track for him.
It most certainly is. And with that, these guys are getting things sorted out. Mikey Wayne's headed down to the winner's circle area. We'll get a word in with our top 3 in the XC1 and also maybe check in with a few other riders. Stick around. GNCC Live continues from the Black Sky right after this.
Consistent clutch fuel is vital to effective starts or to confidently maneuver around obstacles on the trail. AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil was subjected to an extreme simulated start test. After 32 simulated race starts, AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil continued to deliver consistent clutch fuel, and the clutch plates remained clean with no visible wear. The competitor's oil, however, allowed discoloration and significant wear after just 16 starts. AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil. Give your bike the protection it needs.
Check, check, check.
My name's Garrett Studer. I'm out of Windsor, New York, and I race YXC1 mini quad class. I race a little bit of GNCC and my main series is Niowa right here in New York. I race a few D6s and try and go all over, have some fun. I've been racing for 9 years now, and I'd say my favorite part is probably just going out there and having fun, getting away from everything. I'm pretty excited about this new track. It looks pretty fun. There's a lot of flow and some chunk and rock, and it looks a lot of fun to just go out there and throw down. I've raced here before with the Niowa series, and I mean, it's right in my backyard. It's only 15 minutes away from here, from my house, and it's just a sweet track.
And congratulations, Garrett Studer, for being our amateur spotlight rider of the week. As we done it, man, 2 hours of racing here in Harpersville, New York. The Black Sky GNCC ATV portion is complete. And round number 10 for these riders says just that exactly. And points are now racking up and being tabulated and calculated as riders are trying to position themselves in these final 4 rounds to get the better overall positions and finishes. Walker Fowler trying to strive for 5, I guess you could say. And I know everybody trying to knock him off the top of the podium at least 1 or 2 times before the end of this 2019 championship season. Though not happening today. And I'll tell you right now, he was able to hang tight and stand tough with taking the win. And sounds like I think we may be getting close to ready. Mikey, whenever you're ready, I hear you. So whenever you're ready, you guys can take it away down there at the winner's circle. The big question is whether or not Mikey heard me say that. I know that it can get a little loud down there in that region. A lot of celebrations going on. Folks are really pumped and excited as we'll look at some more of these classes that have checked in. We were talking about riders in the, the overall as far as Christofferson and as far as that James Galata, or John Galata Jr., I'm sorry. I keep calling him James, and I don't know why, but John Galata Jr., did he get that 10th place overall position? We'll try to answer that question. Looks like, the way I'm seeing it right now, we got, Fowler, McClure, Richardson, 1, 2, and 3, B. Neal in 4th, McGill place finish for the XC2 Pro, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe that, Mikey, are you ready, buddy?
Rodney, I am ready. Yeah, down here with Walker Fowler taking the big win here today. Walker, man, talk to us. It was the Walker Fowler show from start to finish.
Yeah, you know, I was really hoping to get a nice big lead build up, and I kind of did on the second lap there, but that was the end of that. Jared McClure put a couple hot laps in. There was a bunch of lines I was missing in the track. It got shorter and shorter and shorter. I know he got me down below 10 seconds, and it pretty well stayed there. There were certain times that I was only a corner ahead, and then he would fall back just enough where I could, you know, get some lappers between us. And you know, luckily that last lap, I think he said he stuffed it into a corner and either had to get off the bike or had to, you know, it's wasted about 10 seconds, and I was out of gas. We fueled, and this is the third time this year I've either run out or almost run out, and it ain't working. So I don't know what we're doing wrong, but we got lucky on that one. I barely made it up this hill, and luckily it was mostly downhill, and I was looking back because it was going to be the X Factor a couple years ago when I was running out. It was almost the same thing. It quit at the top of that hill over there, and I don't know how it made it in, but we had everyone was out here ready to push if they needed to. So got lucky, but we'll take it.
Take it on to the next one.
On to the next one. This is one step closer to number 5.
It's not the drive for 5, it's the strive.
The 5 makes the S in strive.
I see what you did there. Walker Fowler taking a win here today at the Parts Unlimited Black Sky GNCC.
Well, what an awesome display of, we'll say, dominance, I guess you could say, in a sense, that Walker Fowler was able to portray out there. But again, Jared McClure offering us some very exciting points to look into and talk about. Like Walker said, they were close, and closer than we even realized at times out there on that racetrack. Last lap miscue by Jared McClure puts him well, 7 seconds back at the checker, it says, I believe, and we'll head down there to Mikey Waynes, who's standing by with the Cobra in the winner's circle.
Well, Jared, and you've had
tough one for sure. 2 podiums there back in the spring, and it's just been a kind of 4th, 5th kind of year for me. So to come fresh off summer break up to New York here and put it on the box, I mean, I had Walker in sight for a good part of the day. You know, I could see him in the fields, so it was kind of hyping me up to go for the win. Just trying to, we both started hitting some lappers. I know they were probably giving him some problems too. Kind of mixed it up a little bit, but just fell a little short. But man, super pumped to get the second. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been on the box talking to you guys, so it feels real good to be up here.
Well, welcome back, man. What kind of confidence does this give you heading into the last 3 rounds of the season?
Oh, it's good. I tend to always do a little better in the second half for some reason. I don't know. I just kind of get to ride a little more over the summer. You know, I got a lot of racing over the summer, especially up here in New York. That kind of helped the confidence. And, you know, I worked on my setup a little bit. Got the Elka suspension, Texera stuff working real good. Felt really smooth today. I mean, I really made one mistake last lap that kind of cost me, but overall had a pretty smooth day.
There you go, Jared McClure. Congratulations. A 2nd place finish here today in the Pro class.
And, of course, with that, we see Cole Richardson finishing up in the number 3 spot. Richardson, again, I had him pegged to win in this one today just simply because I saw that big coal train the other day going down the train tracks. But regardless, Cole Richardson, the coal train himself, really putting on a good ride. He opened up this one with 2nd right behind Walker. And I tell you, I don't know what kind of chaos took place there on that first lap. Stretched everything out and spread everybody out there. But it certainly made for a very exciting 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th lap as Cole's able to finally take that 3rd place position and standing by with Mikey Waynes down at the winner's circle.
Well, Coleman, a 3rd place finish out there today. We know where you want to be. We know what the goals are. How you feeling about today's 3rd place finish?
You know, we got off to a great start, and, you know, he's running 2nd, started to gap the field with me and Walker, and just came down through a little bend, and I don't know what I did. I just came in too hot, blew over the hillside, and I didn't wreck or anything, but, you know, I was off the track and all the logs and trees, and I just kind of leaned back, pinned it, got over the log, and then got stuck in a bundle of trees, and, you know, had to lift the quad on the grab bar, push it on its side, get it going, and I think I dropped to 6th and was about I'd say 15. A little funny, and I went to realize that the bead on the tire broke, so we rode 3 laps with pretty much on the rim, I'd say. But you know, the tire balls did its job. The rims held the tire together, and you know, we put in some of the fastest laps today, and definitely the fastest last lap. I feel like I could ride longer, but you know, just the cards didn't play right today.
Well, man, congratulations on a podium finish here. Cole Richardson taking a 3rd place finish.
Very interesting. Cole Richardson mentioning fast laps, 25:13 lap time, 25:19 for both Walker Fowler and Jared McClure on that last lap. But how about this? Bryson Neal, who finished 4th place, actually turned a 25:12, so he was coming on hot in the closing moments as well. Again, Neal finishing in 4th. Adam McGill holding on to a 5th place position finish here at the Black Sky GNCC. And as you look out over this most beautiful Southern Tier New York landscape and terrain, what an amazing place that we have found once again in the GNCC Racing Nation to come and race. And with that, my friends, as beautiful as it is, we're going to close out here at the Black Sky GNCC. Don't forget, come back with us again tomorrow, as we'll have more great live racing action on the 2-wheel side of things as Caleb Russell, Thad Duvall, and the rest of all of our GNCC greats go head-to-head here at the Parts Unlimited Black Sky GNCC. On behalf of all of us here at RacerTV.com and, of course, GNCC Live, on behalf of Mikey Waynes, Landon Wolf, I'm Rodney Tomlin saying good day, everybody.